The Texas Tech Red Raiders off to the program's best start in over 15 years and coming off a big win yesterday over the Texas Longhorns. Looking to win the series this afternoon. Big 12 baseball coming up next on Fox.
We got to keep getting better. It's got to transfer to all three phases. You got that? We got to bring intensity to the game.
Welcome back to River Park, Dan Law Field.
It's a baseball game. It's the same game you played your whole life. Go be a baseball player.
Raiders on three. 1, 2, 3. Swings and drills this one. Goodbye. Rip that one.
Bring the same intensity to every pitch.
It's a strikeout. Strike 3. Nice play there. What a great play. Killing.
And the Towers ring the bell. The Red Raiders win it. You're looking at Rip Griffin Park in Lubbock, Texas, on the campus of Texas Tech University, where the Texas Tech Red Raiders today hosting the Texas Longhorns. Longhorns won on Friday night. The Red Raiders came back yesterday with a big win. Now, whoever wins today wins the series on a windy afternoon here at Rip Griffin Park. Good afternoon, everyone. Robert Giovanetti alongside Dr. Mark Gustafson. Mike, the executive director of the College Baseball Hall of Fame. And Gus, we've seen kind of a tale of two games. Friday night, the Longhorns get out early and win big. The Red Raiders do the same yesterday.
Yeah, the team that's gotten the starting pitching, it's kind of hung in there and stayed in the ball games has been the team that's won these last 2 days.
And again, the Red Raiders trying to ride a wave. We'll talk about this in a minute, but been doing very well on Sundays.
Yeah, 6-0 on Sundays, 2-0 on Big 12 weekends, so that's huge.
Well, let's take a look at today's Carolina scouting report to see some of the players we should see from today for the Red Raiders. We'll start with first baseman, very consistent, Eric Gutierrez.
Yeah, 3 hits already this weekend. He continues to be the middle of the lineup presence for the Red Raiders. Had a big double here in yesterday's ball game.
And I tell you what, a guy we saw back in the starting lineup Friday night, and we see the reason why everyone's so excited, Tim Proudfoot. There's no one better with the glove than this guy.
Yeah, dazzling inning-ending ground ball diving stop yesterday to save a run. He took part in a couple double plays, at 8 assists. He's been a real shot in the arm for this club defensively.
Meanwhile, for the Texas Longhorns come in ranked as well. Mark Payton makes it all go for the Longhorns. This guy's on an incredible streak as far as getting on base.
Yeah, he's reached base in 67 consecutive games, 4 hits already this weekend. He's hitting .423 on the year. He's just a legit big-time college hitter.
And another guy who's been very good for them offensively this weekend, Tres Barrera.
Yeah, Barrera with 6 hits already in the first 2 games of this series. He's 16 for 30 in their last 7 games. He's moved into the cleanup spot for today's ball game.
Carolina, the official retirement community of Texas Tech Athletics. To learn more, visit CarolinaLubbock.com. Again, big game today for the Red Raiders. They come in 4-4 in Big 12 play. You want to take care of business at home. What are some of your keys this afternoon?
Well, Tech has got to control the middle of the Longhorn lineup. The 3 through 6 hitters so far in these first 2 ball games have combined for 15 hits, and that's a ton.
We talk a lot about the guy on the mound gives you your courage on that day.
Yeah, Chris Sadbury's allowed 2 runs or less in each of his 6 starts this year. UT's throwing a guy that's 4-1, and Nathan Thornhill's a 1.01 ERA. It should be a tremendous pitching matchup, especially for a Sunday.
And as you've mentioned, the Red Raiders have not been great on Fridays this year, but Sunday's been very good.
Yeah, and a lot of times, just like this weekend, that's the rubber game of the series, and that's kind of the money game. And so they save the Baylor series, and then they claim the TCU series on Sunday. So it's always important to win on Sundays.
Okay, 2 Big 12 opponents, both ranked, trying to get the series win on a Sunday. You're watching Texas Tech TV on Fox.
This Texas Tech TV broadcast on Fox Sports is brought to you in part by LubbockStudentHousing.com. Your housing search starts here. And by Coca-Cola.
Welcome back to Rip Griffin Park, a Sunday afternoon here on the campus of Texas Tech University. Texas Tech and Texas Game 3. The Red Raiders yesterday evened up the series at a game apiece after the Longhorns won on Friday night in a big fashion. So the Red Raiders a little pressure on yesterday, and Texas early on took the early 1-0 lead as they did the night before, scoring in the first. But the Red Raiders took advantage of some great defensive plays. Tim Proudfoot back in the lineup there, turns 2, along with Bryant Burleson, one of 2 double plays on the afternoon for the Red Raiders. And then the Tech bats got going, as you see Tech with 8 runs yesterday. Eric Gutierrez there with a double, one of his 2 hits on the afternoon, and the Red Raiders went on to win it by a score of 8-4. It's now time for today's Coca-Cola starting lineups. Let's look at the Red Raiders defensively. Nesloni in left, Smith in center, Kirsch in right, Berrios at third, Proudfoot at short, Burleson at second, Gutierrez at first. Behind the plate, Tyler Floyd, and on the mound, lefty Chris Sadberry.
This is Sadberry's 7th appearance, a 2.35 ERA, a 3-1 record. In 30 2/3 innings, he's allowed 32 hits, walked only 2, struck out 17. Opponents hitting .274 off the junior left-hander.
And let's look at today's Texas Longhorn batting order. And the Horns have left 26 runners on base this weekend. Brooks Marlowe leading off, then Johnson, Payton, Barrera, who we talked about earlier. Shaw Gerwitz moves up in the order. He's had a good offensive weekend. Hinojosa, Clemens back in the starting lineup today, and the DH Madison Carter. Baseball is summer's game. Coke is summer's drink. Therefore, Coke is baseball's drink. How's that for refreshing, uplifting, delicious logic? Coca-Cola, open happiness. And so today, it's, temperature in the mid-70s. It's a little bit breezy this afternoon. As you see, the wind has been blowing in for the most of the time, blowing at 27 miles an hour, as you can see, and partly cloudy, not expecting any kind of precipitation. So it's just kind of a typical spring day here, Gus.
Yeah, and the ball won't carry to right field. This wind is going to shift anywhere from blowing straight in from right field toward home plate to across the field from right to left. But regardless, unless it makes a dramatic change, anything hit to right field is going to get knocked down, and balls hit to left field are the ones that are either going to be tricky or have genuine carry behind them if that wind shifts a little more out of the southwest.
You see Sadberry there on the mound. Sadberry has been really good this year, 3-1. Again, he got hit on the hand by the liner against Oral Roberts. Put a scare into everyone, but he's been really good since he came back.
Yeah, he bounced back from that with a win over the Rice Owls down at Houston at the Minute Maid Classic, beating them 2-1. So it's a real pleasant surprise.
Brooks Marlowe steps in, and we are underway as Marlowe moves out of the way for the first pitch. Marlowe on the weekend is 4 for 9. He had the great night on Friday night, just needed the triple, but he had a couple doubles and a home run and a single, triple shy of the cycle. He's hitting .267 on the year, 1 home run and 9 runs batted in.
What Sadberry has really succeeded in doing is putting himself on the radar for many of these professional scouts. Velocity hovering around 90 miles an hour, throwing strikes.
Yeah, anytime that you're throwing with that left hand and you're up in the 90s, a lot of guys are going to pay attention.
You are correct, sir.
And both these teams looking for the series win. That one's chopped down the right side. Sadberry gloves it. And Marlowe is retired for the first out of the inning. Both of these teams, both nights, Texas has had a lot of base runners. And yesterday especially, they had the season high allowed by Tech pitchers on Friday in hits. And they came back yesterday and put a lot of guys on base and left 27 on in the 2 games. And think about that, when you score 11 on Friday, you still have 27 left on in the 2 games.
The UT offense scuffled early in the season, but they've recorded double-digit hits in 6 of the last 7 games, batting .349 as a team. They've swung the bat very well here this weekend.
Ben Johnson comes in, hitting .286 on the year, 2 home runs and 15 runs batted in. Lifts that one out to shallow right field. For the first hit of the game, he thought about trying for 2. Kirsch had to cover a lot of territory, but Johnson will settle for the single. That's Johnson's 4th hit of the weekend. Can Texas, 31 hits coming in on this weekend, 32 now after the Johnson single. And here comes Mark Payton. Payton hitting .423 on the year, 1 home run and 20 runs batted in. And see with Payton, 67 consecutive games. You look at Johnson over at first. Johnson with 5 stolen bases on the year. Payton, 67 consecutive games has reached base, which is the most in the in the country. That dates back to last season, obviously. Texas 21-7 on the year, 2-3 in Big 12 play.
I would think if there's a bona fide first-team All-American candidate on this field today, it's Mr. Payton. Not only hitting in the low 400s, but he's done it for a couple years, so voters know about him.
Takes that pitch low. 5 triples, which is 4th nationally.
He very well be the Big 12 Player of the Year, at least the Offensive Player of the Year. And there's lots to like about this kid. We've been talking about him for the better part of 2 days.
Yeah, and after watching him yesterday, too, and Friday night, he covers a lot of territory out in center field as he fouls that off down the left side.
Yeah, and he's a Chicago kid, so we talked about Chicago pizza and hot dogs, too, so we've got all that part covered.
Got that food covered. We did that on Friday night, but if we have to, we can revisit that today.
And I think the tech sales department working on Portillo's and Giordano's as potential sponsors.
1-2, grounded foul.
Kick save and a beaut.
How about that? Nice play.
Yeah, Coach Russ over there at first base. That's nice.
Saw Peyton talking a lot yesterday with Hunter Redman. Of course, Redman spent a little time on that Texas roster. Hunter not in the lineup today. He's had a good weekend for the Red Raiders. A lot of hits, but generally Floyd catches Sadbury. Throw over to first, and Johnson back on the bag. Johnson, again, 5 for 5 on the season in stolen bases.
Yeah, Johnson's a tremendous athlete. He can really run. He's a physical kid.
Pitch gets away from Floyd all the way to the backstop, and that'll allow Johnson to move to second in the wild pitch. Texas got the early 1-0 lead yesterday. Tech jumped out on Friday night with a 1-0 lead. Texas tied it in the third on the Marlowe home run, and then kind of opened the floodgates for the Longhorns.
Well, that pitch nearly hit Peyton. I'm not sure there was much intent to it, but the pitch to come back with here is a good breaking ball away.
Chopper over to the right side. Again, Gutierrez with the outstanding play to get Peyton. You talked about this on Friday night. Gutierrez has really turned into a good defensive first baseman. You see, the lot can go wrong on a play like this. The guy's got to get over to cover the bag, and got to make the good throw, and Gutierrez did that. Boy, Peyton almost beat it out.
And the key thing there is you got to get the ball out in front of the pitcher like that and allow him to run into that thing. It's like throwing a crossing route in football. He executed that well. Gutierrez came here as a kid who'd played more in the outfield as a high school player, and so the first baseman move, the move to first base was something he had to adjust to last year. Handling it nicely.
Brings up Barrera. Barrera hitting .308 on the year. This series, he is 6 for 9.
He's been wearing it out this weekend.
3 doubles this weekend. Texas with 8 extra base hits in the 2 games. Pitch is fouled off down the right side. 6 doubles and 2 home runs.
Barrera's with the big home run here yesterday in the 9th inning off of Corey Taylor, and I say big in terms of distance. He hammered that ball. A hanging slider from Corey Taylor.
And the Longhorns will get out on top again this afternoon as Barrera continues to swing the hot bat with the RBI single. 2-out RBI single. Texas leads it 1-0.
You saw Chris Sadbury kind of kick himself as that ball shot through the infield out into left field. That was a changeup that was up in the strike zone. Not the location he was looking for with that pitch.
Brings up Colin Shaw. Shaw on the season hitting .317, throw over to first. And Barrera back on the bag. Shaw 4 for 11 this weekend. You have to really look hard to find a UT offensive player who's not had a good weekend. Swing and a miss. Shaw this year hitting .409 with 2 outs and hitting .303 with runners on base. So Again, very effective. This Texas offense really has caught fire over the last week or so. Sadbury climbs the ladder and quickly now out ahead 0-2. Texas has recorded double-digit hits in 6 of the last 7 games. And hitting .349 as a team in that 7-game span. The 0-2 misses high.
Shaw climbed the ladder and swung at a pitch up and out of the...
Today, Metroplex. Wilson Dean here at Sports City Toyota.
Back there again to see if he'll get himself out.
Yesterday, with the loss, that was Texas's first loss this season after scoring in the first inning. They're now 10-1 on the year. And off of Sadbury's glove, that's going to be trouble. And as good as Proudfoot is, he won't even be able to make that play. So that is a base hit for Shaw. Sadbury reached down, at least I think Coach Tadlock Glad did it with his glove. Basically made it impossible for anyone to do anything with that. That's the 3rd hit of the inning for the Longhorns. Brings up Zane Gerwitz. So Shaw is at first. Barrera at second. Gerwitz, the freshman, hitting .288. He's had a good weekend as well. He's 5 for 8. So he's moved up a couple of spots in the batting order. Barrios, funny hop, but played it cleanly, and that'll end the inning. But the Longhorns do draw first blood with a run on 3 hits. No errors, and 2 runners were left on. We have played half an inning. The Longhorns with the early lead. The Red Raiders coming to the plate. You're watching Texas Tech TV on Fox. Back at Rip Griffin Park on the campus of Texas Tech University. Texas with the early 1-0 lead as we head to the bottom of the first. It's time for the Coca-Cola starting lineups. Defensively for the Longhorns, Johnson, Payton, and Shaw in the outfield. Gerwitz, Hinojosa, Marlowe, and Clemens, 3rd to 1st. Barrera behind the plate and on the mound. He's a good one, the right-hander, Nathan Thornhill.
This is Thornhill's 10th appearance, his 5th start, a 4-0 record, a 1.01 ERA. In 35 2/3 innings, he's allowed only 21 hits. Walked 16, struck out 19. Opponents batting .178 off the senior right-hander.
As we look at the Texas Tech batting order this afternoon, Smith, Burleson, Barrios, Gutierrez, Kirsch, and Nesloni back in the lineup today. Johnny Droz in the DH spot. Don't expect to see that to happen. He was yesterday's winner on the mound. Tyler Floyd and Tim Proudfoot. Again, that is the Coca-Cola starting lineups. Coca Summer's drink. Open Coca-Cola for happiness. So we see Stephen Smith step in. Smith hitting .284 on the season. Takes the first pitch for a strike. We see that with Drozd in the batting order, and that's something that Tadlock has done quite a bit this year. When he's not quite sure yet who he wants to pencil in at the DH, he'll put in a pitcher and then change that when that time comes around in the batting order. Smith this weekend is 2 for 9. Well, this Longhorn starting pitching has traditionally been one of their calling cards. Yesterday struggled a little bit on the mound, but this guy Thornhill has been good all year.
Well, Thornhill will pitch 88 to 92 and a very good changeup. Those are breaking ball as well.
And Smith goes fishing for the first out of the afternoon for the Red Raiders.
Thornhill was drafted last year after his junior season, but chose to return to Texas for his senior year.
Texas has not lost back-to-back games this year since the first 2 games of the season as Burleson steps in. Burleson hitting .279 on the year. Every Red Raider offensive starter yesterday got a hit. Burleson is 2 for 8 this weekend. I think watching these guys all season long, Burleson's emergence has really been a big story. He rips that down the left field corner, and it bounces away from Johnson, and Burleson will stop at second with the double. Burleson's 11th double of the season.
Burley jumped on that thing, hit it hard. We talked about this crosswind. A ball hit with authority out to left field is going to run toward the corner, run away from that left fielder. Thought off the bat Johnson might have a chance because he runs so well, but that once that ball traveled a little bit and the wind got a hold of it, it had no chance. It bounced off the wall down in the corner for a nice double.
So Berrios steps in. Berrios hitting 293 this year. Mentioned that was Burleson's 11th double of the season, 35th of his career. Berrios is hitting 255 with runners in scoring position this season. I was saying that while Burleson was at the plate, I think he's been very solid defensively, and he's become much more of a factor offensively this year.
He came in and played a ton as a freshman, and was a part of he and Proudfoot played a ton as freshmen, making up the middle infield, and played a ton last year, and both of them at times overmatched offensively, but did so well defensively that they stayed in the lineup, and now you're seeing some maturation from both of them, and they've become really solid offensive performers and guys that you figure to have a solid last year and a half to their career here at Tech.
Had a little meeting on the mound of the Longhorn infield. We're talking before the game with some of the UT guys about, including Justin Moore, their media relations guy, about just the depth you have of starting, and how if you look ahead to next year, as that pitch fouled off, that's something that Augie Garrido's going to have to look at, losing those guys on the weekend, because all three of those guys will end up playing at the next level.
All very talented arms and all draft eligible, and guys you would expect to move on, as you said.
Here's the 2-1 to Berrios. Red Raiders on the year 4-4 in Big 12 play. The Tech 22 wins is the third most in Division I baseball this year. Get a little ground level view of Berrios at the plate. Jake wanted to and held up, and that'll be ball 4. I think Jake was thinking he might get to see another pitch, but he draws the walk. Thornhill's 17th walk of the season. Brings up Gutierrez. Gutierrez hitting .330 on the year. Three home runs, 18 runs batted in for the sophomore first baseman. And Thornhill already in a little bit of a jam here in the first. Another good crowd. We had a record crowd yesterday in the renovated Rick Griffin Stadium. Third highest attendance at the time on Friday night. So it's been a big weekend. Looks like we have another good crowd this afternoon.
With the first two games of this series kind of getting away from each team early and then ending in fairly wide margins, neither team has used their closer, and so this may be a little bit of a shortened ball game in the sense that closers could come in early and affect the game.
It's just foul. Down on the left side. We don't have a saddle trap ball boy down the left side, so Longhorns going to have to come out of the bullpen to chase that down. We'll have to wait for that. And a good look there at Gutierrez as he's ready to go. 2 balls and a strike. Pops that one foul into the crowd.
Eric got the 2 fastballs that he was looking to hit in these last 2 swings and fouled them both off. He may have to contend with that breaking pitch or one of those good change-ups. Thornhill looking for that ground ball. Eric doesn't run well. He is a double play candidate. Of course, he can also hit one out on the street out there beyond left field.
3 home runs on the year for Gutierrez. He had 4 last year. See if that ball stays in the field of play. What a great effort by Shaw, but not able to get to it. Just made the diving attempt. Had to cover a lot of territory, too. We saw yesterday Shaw really good also defensively. Got a great arm, I thought. Showed that yesterday afternoon, but had a long way to go for that.
The wind really knocking that ball down. It's blowing again from right to left and really knocks a ball like that down and affects it and kind of chases it away from Shaw. But as you said, a tremendous effort. He made a good run at that.
So we'll do it again at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Longhorn outfield playing Gutierrez slightly to pull, shifted just a little bit around the left field.
You mentioned that about the bullpens. What a great effort yesterday from Johnny Droz for the Red Raiders. 7 innings, 101 pitches. It could be 2. Zerwig goes to Marlowe. And that is a 5-4-3 double play to end the inning. So the Red Raiders had 2 on, but not able to capitalize. We played 1. The Longhorns lead it. You're watching Texas Tech TV on Fox. Can't beat fun at the old ballpark. Gus and I might try that in a couple of weeks. I'm not sure Gus can handle that part of it, putting on the
that's kind of rough.
Putting on the little outfit. Top of the second inning here, Rip Griffin Ballpark. Robert Giovanetti, Mike Gustafson with you. Texas Tech in Texas. Again, another great day. Bring the family out to the ballpark. Longhorns with the early 1-0 lead. We will see Hinojosa, Clemens, and Carter here in the second. Hinojosa on the year hitting .250. So pitch misses low. CJ, I mentioned that in the last inning. Hard to find a Longhorn who hasn't had a good offensive weekend. He's 1 for 10. So he's one of the few that has racked up multiple hits. Scoops that back to the mound. I think they call it a foul ball. Third base umpire Josh Shepis could hear him barking from down the line.
And he was on it. Sometimes that's a tough one to see for the home plate ump. As easy as it looks like from up here in the stands, you think, how can he not see that? But he's trying to see balls and strikes. You can't tell if a ball ticks off the side of his foot, and that's where those corner umps do a good job.
Sadbury threw 21 pitches in the first inning. So it's 2 balls and 2 strikes early on here. Texas, like yesterday, jumps out to the early lead. Now, Hinojosa has run the count full. Hinojosa does have a .325 on base percentage. Mr. Routine over there at third, Jake Berrios. And that's the first down of the second inning. And Berrios been very solid over at third base. Really, I'm not sure you could find a much better collegiate infielding you're seeing right now with this Texas Tech team. Defensively, Clemens steps in. Clemens hitting .238 on the season. And the story goes with Proudfoot that Jay Buhner actually told the Tech coaching staff this guy could take infield with any major league team in the big leagues. Ball carrying out the left, and there's Loney fighting it a little bit, but makes the catch for the second out. I think we saw the wind have a little factor there.
Yeah, and of course these Tech outfielders have dealt with this, and you don't get it as much in the fall. We don't typically have a lot of wind here in the fall, so they don't get to deal with it until the spring practices and the season get going. But you saw that ball sliced off a Clemens bat, and Neslony just stayed with it and kept drifting with it toward the line and ended up making the catch and made it look routine.
Madison Carter steps in at DH.
Carter's a guy they're not going to have a lot of book on him. He pinch hit here yesterday and hit a ball hard and making an out, and gets the nod today, but he's 0 for 4 on the season, so probably not a lot of scouting report on him.
Yep, still looking for his first hit. And he gets it.
There you have it.
Hit right back up the middle.
It's a good place to. It's a good place to hit it if you're looking for your first hit. He shot that back through the middle. If I remember correctly, the out he made was the ball that hit back off of Droz and bounced over to first base yesterday. Is that the way you're remembering it?
Yep, that is the he came in.
Pinch hit for Maltabano yesterday.
So back to the top of the order, and Marlowe grounded out to first. Sadbury to 1-3. I'll get that out eventually. 1-3 in his first at bat. Two outs in the inning. Marlowe hitting .270 this year with 2 outs. Again, Marlowe and Payton at the top of the order really make things go for the Longhorns, and Sadbury with the breaking pitch over for a strike. Texas Tech will go on the road after today's game. Got a game Tuesday night in Midland against New Mexico, and then off to Stillwater next weekend to take on Oklahoma State. Ball's grounded foul.
In the Tech Big 12 schedule, 3 of the first 4 series on the road. And sort of weather in that part of it. The reward is the 3 of the last 4 at home. Basically, the entire month of April after next week is spent at home.
Yeah, they've got a long stretch at home, there's no doubt.
And they're looking forward to that as the temperatures warm up, and it's generally a good month for baseball.
Runner's going. 1-2 pitch. Fouled off. Out of play down the left side. It's a little hit and run for the Longhorns. You see Carter heading back to first.
Carter got a tremendous jump right there. He would have had that bag stolen. Of course, Marlowe with 2 strikes has to be swinging just to protect himself.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3, and that's Sadbury's first strikeout of the afternoon. And so the Longhorns leave 1 on. We played 1.5. Texas leading at 1-0. You're watching Texas Tech TV on Fox. Welcome back to Rip Griffin Park. Texas leading the Red Raiders early on as we play in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Hey, all of us here at Texas Tech Sports Broadcasting would like to wish a very happy birthday to a legend in the field of collegiate sports broadcasting. That's Don Hoagland. Don is the father of our very own David Hoagland. David, of course, is our director today, and Don taught David everything he knows about televising athletic events. Great role model in David's life. So a happy 76th birthday, 76, to Don Hoagland. Adam Kirsch steps in. You know, Don Hoagland, for some of us with gray hair, remember he is a legend. Raycom Sports and all of those early pioneers of television in this area. Pitch foul back for strike 2.
Raycom Sports. HSE. Wasn't HSE sort of a forerunner?
Yes.
Very nice. Home Sports Entertainment, is that right?
I think that's what it stood for. Kirsch steps in.
Nice.
Kirsch on the year hitting .327, leads the nation in doubles with 15. You look at Brian Burleson with his 11 doubles, and that's 3rd best in the Big 12. She got a couple of Red Raiders in the top 5 and the extra base hits. Kirsch ready to go again. Thornhill threw 17 pitches in the first inning. He got the double play ball to end the inning. Kirsch lifts that out to shallow center, but Payton is there for the first out of the 2nd. Yes, we talked about that Tech has been very good this year on Sundays. 5-0 on Sundays coming into today, too. Also outscoring opponents 44-8 in that 5-game span.
Yeah, and the key games within that, obviously, the win at Minute Maid over Rice, but those last 2 weekends beating Baylor to salvage a game on the road, and then the win over TCU last Sunday to win that series.
Nesloney steps in. Nesloney hitting .435 again. He'd been out just about 5.5 weeks after breaking the bone in his hand. Played on Friday, rested yesterday. Ryan Long in the on-deck circle, so he will replace Johnny Drozd as the designated hitter. Long, the freshman, has seen a lot of playing time this year. We'll see him in just a bit here after the Neslonia bat. Wind blowing 25, 30 miles an hour, but not nearly as I think that initial reports were going to be, that it was going to be much windier today. Pitch fouled off down the left side off the facing and into the crowd. That's the kind you want to have come into the crowd after it, take a little something off of it after it hits some kind of the structure.
Yeah. Take some of the starch out of it.
A couple weekends ago in Waco, that was a really windy Sunday afternoon, and that actually played a role in the outcome of that game, as ball misplayed by Baylor in the outfield. In the 8th inning, Tech went on to win that game. I said at the time on the radio that we may look back on that a turning point in the season, because you came that close to being swept in Waco and turned out leaving with 1 win. Neslonia climbs the ladder and strikes out, the second strikeout of the afternoon by Thornhill. So 2 outs here. You see Ryan Long step into pinch hit. And I say pinch hit, I use that term loosely. Drozd was never going to hit, but
there you see the swing and miss by Neslonia. Had a good pitch up and in. Hard to lay off that pitch, especially with 2 strikes.
Long takes the first pitch.
Oklahoma State and TCU are in the rubber game of that series. OSU leading 5-4 in the top of the 4th. They're in Stillwater.
Well, Long tried to hold up and couldn't, so he's quickly in hole 0-2.
That was a good changeup.
Long hitting .230 on the year. He's seen his average take a drop, and Thornhill with back-to-back strikeouts to end the inning. We played 2 heading to the 3rd. Texas still with the lead. You're watching Texas Tech TV on Fox. Back to Rip Griffin Park on the campus of Texas Tech University. Top of the 3rd inning. Texas with the 1-0 lead. And the Longhorns here in the 3rd will send up Johnson, Payton, and Barrera. Longhorns got a 2-out RBI single by Barrera in the 1st for the early 1-0 lead. Johnson had the single in the 1st inning and scored the run. Johnson now hitting .293 on the year. 4 hits in this series. Lifted out pretty deep left field. Neslonia going back at the warning track. I'm not sure the park will hold it, and he doesn't. So that is a solo homer for Johnson. The 3rd of the season for Johnson, the 3rd of the weekend for the Longhorns, and now the lead is 2-0. Knew off the bat it was going to be trouble. Maybe the question would be just if it would stay fair or not.
Didn't clear by much, and it just hooked inside the foul pole, but it was a ball that looked like it was going to get out of here from the minute it was hit. Like you said, you're hoping that crosswind kind of hooks it foul, but he kept it fair. He jumped on a pitch down and in and hammered it.
So Payton drops the bunt down. Sadbury up with it. Throw to first to get him in time. So there is 1 out in the inning. But Johnson. Payton, again, you got to just be always careful with him. A lot of things he can do well with the bat. That's 2 groundouts today that basically has been beaten by half a step. Barrera with an RBI single earlier today.
We were talking about Payton yesterday and kind of where we think he'll go in the draft. And, of course, in terms of his performance numbers and things like that, he's off the charts, good college player.
Foul off down the right side.
But not a high tools prospect. You know, he's not a big kid, big superpower, but just everything you like in a player. And you'd think that he'd be a guy who would go, he would be one of those guys that they'll draft because he's a senior. He won't cost them a lot of money, so maybe a team that spends a lot of money on a first-round pick can draft him and save a little money there. And you know, I just think he's going to have a chance to really climb through a system and get to the big leagues in a hurry if he'll keep doing what he's done at the college level.
Yeah, there's certainly you mentioned that about a tools guy, but boy,
yeah, he can play.
Yeah, he can play. There's no doubt about it.
Believe me, I don't mean that in any kind of that is no knock. I just, you know, the tools guys are the ones that light up the stopwatch and the whole deal and all the metrics. And if it was football, we'd be talking about combine numbers.
Floyd does not hold on to it. And so Barrera will reach. I don't know if Floyd thought at first he might have fouled it off, but get another look at it here. Off the home plate up by Mike Morris's mask, then Floyd couldn't find it.
It was kind of an awkward swing. It was a pitch that was up and in and probably out of the strike zone, but Tyler was definitely late getting to it, and he gets charged with the pass ball there.
So the strikeout and the pass ball allows Barrera to go to first, and so Shaw will step in. So 1 ball and no strikes to Shaw. Shaw had a single in the first off of Sadbury's glove. Texas with 5 hits already this afternoon. They came in 31 on the weekend, 16 on Friday, 15 yesterday. And you lead it 2-0 as we play in the third. Sadbury evens it up.
Colin Shaw and Ben Johnson, both products of a very good summer program, the Austin Wings, run by James Ellison and his crew. Got several players on this Longhorn lineup.
So Burleson can get to that. Going to go to second. Back over first, and Proudfoot threw it wide, but Gutierrez plays it off the wall. So we get the force out at second. 4-6. Shaw reaches on the fielder's choice.
As long as that overthrow doesn't get over there into that fencing and that gate, it stays a live ball. It's almost like it's like a trick play. Go ahead and tease you into Gutierrez, turn around, play it on the hop, and hope you think you can get to second, and he throws you out by about 40 feet.
Throw over to first, and Shaw back on the back. Shaw has 5 stolen bases on the season. So the solo homer by Ben Johnson to lead off the inning. Texas now up by 2. Runners going, big jump. There's the throw down to second, not in time. So it's a stolen base for Shaw, his 6th of the year.
That's the 3rd attempted steal. We've seen a couple of pitches fouled off and whatnot, but Texas clearly feeling like they've got Sadbury's move read. There's been some very good jumps. I would imagine that's not the last stolen base attempt we'll see.
Yeah, that really was a good jump there by Shaw. So Gerwitz now with a chance to drive and run with a base hit.
Carter got a good jump in the last inning on a 2-strike pitch that Marlowe had to swing at, and he fouls it off. But yeah, we've seen some good jumps so far. They've got Sadbury figured out.
Be his 50th pitch of the afternoon right now. There he goes to third. Throw down to third is in time. So Floyd gets Shaw trying to get third base, but the Longhorns do score a run here in the third. We're going to the bottom half. You're watching Texas Tech TV on Fox. Bottom of the third inning. Beautiful day at the ballpark here. A lot of families out enjoying the afternoon as Texas with the early 2-0 lead. The Red Raiders here in the third will send up Floyd, Proudfoot, and Smith, 8, 9, and 1 in the order, to face Nathan Thornhill. Thornhill has allowed 1 hit. He's walked a batter and struck out 3 through the first 2 innings. Floyd steps in. Takes the first pitch for strike. Floyd threw out Shaw, trying to steal third to end the top half of the third for the Longhorns. So they just kind of golfed that over towards the Longhorn dugout for strike 2.
Yeah, Shaw getting thrown out trying to steal third there at the end of the inning is really something you can't have. I'm sure he was running with a green light, you know, and it's one of those things like, hey, if you try to get it, you better get it, especially with 2 outs. And so I'm sure that Tommy Nicholson was saying, no, listen, can't do that.
Chopper over to the right side. Marlowe with a good play, and first out of the inning is now Thornhill has retired 5 consecutive batters. You see, Marlowe's another one of those guys, too, that you kind of just take for granted over there at second. Makes good plays throughout.
Solid veteran.
Proudfoot steps in. Proudfoot hitting .391 on the year. Just great to see him back in the lineup. 2 for 7 on the weekend. You don't realize sometimes what a great arm Proudfoot has too at short. Throws are always right on the money as that ball's fouled off down the right side.
You know, when Tim was recruited here, you mentioned kind of what had gone into his recruitment, and he was a guy that they felt like was a really fundamental of the 2 shortstop that they brought in. He was the more fundamental of them, maybe the less dazzling, maybe the less offensive, but boy, he's been nothing but a good player here.
Marlowe makes the good play to get Proudfoot for the second out of the inning. See Marlowe going deep to his left, goes down on 1 knee and makes the good play.
Texas plays with the artificial surface infield just like this one, and very comfortable playing on the turf. Marlowe made that look easy.
Steven Smith steps in. Smith struck out in the first. He's 2 for 10 this weekend. 38 pitches now on the afternoon for Thornhill. Dylan Peters struggled yesterday for the Longhorns, but otherwise been very good starting pitching. Hinojosa up with it, and the Red Raiders go in order here in the third. Texas leads it 2-0 as we go to the fourth. Top of the fourth inning, Texas leading the Red Raiders by a score of 2-0. 2 runs on 5 hits for the Longhorns, no runs, 1 hit for the Red Raiders. As we go to the fourth, Longhorns will send up Gurwitz, Hinojosa, and Clemens. You see Hunter Redmond now has entered the game for the Red Raiders behind the plate. And Gus, that probably has a lot to do with what Texas appears to be doing on the base paths.
Yeah, I think that they really can't. Sadbury's not going to be able to change a whole lot, and so they're going to have to put Hunter Redmond back there, maybe a little bit better throwing arm than Tyler Floyd. It is rather evident that the Longhorns are going to try to take liberties on the base paths.
Gurwitz, big swing and a miss. Gurwitz grounded out to short.
Good breaking ball there by Chris.
So Gurwitz made a great play on Friday night on a grounder to third where he got the lead runner at second base. He's played a lot in the outfield this year, but appears to maybe have settled in there at third base now for Texas. 20 starts in the outfield. Played in both right and left field this year. So the count is even up. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Gets away from Redmond, but he'll throw down to first. So Sadbury gets his second strikeout of the afternoon. So Gerwitz swinging that pitch down in the dirt. Brings up Hinojosa.
Chris has thrown 3 pretty good breaking balls through these first 2 hitters. A couple of them down and out of the strike zone that Gerwitz chased and gets a first pitch breaker over there to Hinojosa. Good sign.
Paints the corner. Now Hinojosa in a hole 0-2. Hinojosa grounded out to third in his first at bat. Six groundouts on the afternoon. Sadbury, as that pitch just missed, and the home crowd was hoping for strike 3.
The home crowd wanting him to expand that zone, maybe 2 ball widths off the outside corner and get that called third strike.
Big chopper over to Berrios at third. Jake's got to wait on it. The long throw across and gets away from Gutierrez, so that'll be a base hit for Hinojosa. Take another look at it. See, Jake had to go back behind the bag.
Every time you miss one, doesn't it?
Not sure even if Gutierrez had held on to it. I think he still would have been safe.
Yeah, I think he was going to beat that either way, and that's a function of 2 strikes. Berrios had backed off and was playing deeper over there, trying to cut off the double, and he plays that thing on a hop and gets rid of it in a hurry, but just I don't think he was going to get it sent.
Casey Clemens steps in and throw back over to first, and Hinojosa back on the bag. Hinojosa with a couple of stolen bases on the season. Clemens flied out to left in his first at bat. And we mentioned his bloodlines. His dad, Roger Clemens, throw over to first. Hinojosa back on. One out in the inning. Texas has had at least 1 base runner in every inning. Six hits today for Texas. A couple of infield singles amongst those. There's his dad in attendance, Roger Clemens. Got the earphones in and listening. And is even up to his son, the freshman first baseman for the Longhorns. Throw over to first, and Hinojosa back on the bag. Again, the last inning, Shaw stole second and then was thrown out trying to steal third. And I mentioned that a couple times the Longhorns have sent runners, having maybe measured Sadbury's move. But Sadbury now in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Chris has thrown some good breaking balls in this inning to a couple of these left-handed hitters. Important pitch for him to get established.
Swing and a miss. His second strikeout of the inning. I guess Clemens kind of just waved at that, appeared to be fooled. And there'll be 3 strikeouts on the afternoon by the lefty. So now 2 outs. Brings up Carter. Carter got his first hit of the season in the second inning with 2 outs. So he's hitting 200. He's 1 for 5 on the year. And the quick throw over to first, and Hinojosa back on the bag. Let's see if Garrido tries to send Hinojosa here with 2 outs. And the Longhorns have stolen 4 bases this weekend against Tech. One ball and no strikes. 2 outs. Nothing doing there, so.
Breaking ball down and out of the strike zone. Carter's hit a couple balls with authority back through the middle in his last 2 at-bats.
I think you have to look now from Texas Tech's perspective, too, that you want to try to not allow any more to get across for the Longhorns. We've already talked about once Texas gets late into a game, they're pretty good, and Curtis, their closer, has not appeared this weekend, so he's well rested.
I think the Tech bullpen's sort of in that same position, since both of these games have been relatively big blowouts, with the exception of Johnny Droz yesterday. There's plenty of arms available and plenty of key bullpen arms available for both teams this afternoon.
Texas is 15-0 after leading after 5 innings. That pitch over for a strike.
Now with a full count and 2 outs, Hinojosa will be moving here with this pitch.
Top of the order, Brooks Marlowe waits on deck. Gutierrez still in the bag with 3-2. There goes the runner. The chopper. This is going to be tough for Berrios. He gloves it. The throw is not in time. And Hinojosa, because he was on the move, comes around to third. So 2 infield singles in this inning for the Longhorns. Again, just a really tough play for Berrios. And a good throw, but you see Carter was able to beat it out, and very heady base running by Hinojosa, obviously, to keep going. Had gotten the start, so allowed him to get around to third. So Redmond will go out and talk to Sadberry.
Not much Jake could have done on that. He came and gloved it and made a good throw. Got rid of it in a hurry. But the swing and bunt is one of the tougher plays to defend. Not much you can do there.
It's Marlowe steps in. Marlowe is 0 for 2 today. It's 4 hits this weekend and 4 hits on Friday night. Grounded back to Sadberry in the first to lead off the game, and struck out in the second.
Chris got him last time on a breaking ball, and you see him starting there with a breaking ball.
Runners at the corners. Marlowe, 263 hitter this year with 2 outs. Pitch missed away. You've got to really feel like this is an important at-bat for Sadberry. Just trying to keep the Longhorns within shouting distance here at 2-0.
Got to manage those 2-out situations. The last time he was on base, Carter got a very good jump. The pitch was fouled off, but maybe an opportunity for him to run, especially if they feel like they're going to get a breaking ball.
Ben Johnson on deck. Johnson with 2 hits today, including the home run. Nice job by Redmond not letting that get by.
Well, gee, we got another big crowd today.
Yeah, it's been a really, had 2 crowds on Friday and Saturday, both in excess of 4,000. Looks like we're going to be around that number again today. Another off-speed pitch over for a strike.
Sadberry's on 3 of the 4 pitches in this sequence, breaking balls. Really trying to work Marlowe over with that thing.
So the count is even up. Here's a 2-2 pitch. That was played by Proudfoot off 1 hop. The throw over in time and ends the inning. So Sadberry does work out of the jam. No runs on 2 hits, and 2 were left on for the Longhorns. As we go to the bottom of the 4th, you're watching Texas Tech TV on Fox. Bottom of the 4th inning, Texas Tech trailing at 2-0. Red Raiders will send up Burleson, Berrios, and Gutierrez. As we mentioned, great crowds all weekend out here at Rip Griffin Park. We've had great weather, and the fans have come out in record numbers. The largest ever at this ballpark, which was renovated a couple years ago on yesterday's afternoon game. As that first pitch misses low to Burleson. Burleson is 1 for 1 today. He had the double back in the first. Hitting 286 on the year.
Tech wanting to get a base runner here and get Thornhill into the stretch position, get him out of this comfort zone he's in. Retired the last 7 hitters in a row, and he's got in a little bit of a roll here.
1 ball and 1 strike. He's thrown just 41 pitches. Struck out 3, he's walked 1. The only hit that he has allowed was the double by Burleson. That ball going to get out of play into the crowd. Burleson doubled with 1 out in the first. Then Barrios walked. Gutierrez hit into a double play to end the inning, and the Red Raiders have not had a base runner since. Found back to the screen, and Burley stays alive. Yesterday had his 9th multi-hit game of the year. He's reached base in 10 of his last 12 games. It's going to be a tough play for Hinojosa. The long throw across, not in time. So that'll be a single for Burleson. So now Burleson with 10 multi-hit games on the year. Hinojosa did a nice job of knocking that down, but he had no shot there to give Burleson. So the only 2 hits of the afternoon have come off the bat of that man, Brian Burleson. Barrios steps in. Barrios walked in his first at bat. So let's see if the Red Raiders can get something going here in the 4th.
Well, if that base runner there by the Red Raiders doesn't do anything but get Thornhill into the stretch and maybe get him out of his comfort zone, that's not a bad thing.
Pitch missed down and away, and so now Barrios with a little leverage. Jake in his last 16 games hitting .381. He has hit safely in 6 of his last 7 games. His RBI yesterday was the eventual difference in the ballgame. Throw over first, and Burleson back on the bag. Burleson with 1 stolen base on the year. Texas Tech has just not been much of a threat running this year. 14 stolen bases on the year, which is the worst in the Big 12. Barrios climbed the ladder, swinging a miss for strike 2.
Yeah, after 4 years with Jamadert Magruder and Brett Bell in the lineup, stealing 20, 30 plus bases, this is a little bit more of a static base running team than we've had in the past. I think it's a better offensive club than we've had in the last couple years, though.
Ball's fouled off down the right side. Yes. Tech's 14 is the lowest in the league, stolen bases. Next is Texas at 23. But I think the more telling number is the number of runs. And Tech is doing well in that statistic. 3rd in the league in runs scored. So Jake twice climbs the ladder. That one is the 3rd strike.
Jake trying to do a little bit too much there.
4th strikeout of the afternoon for Thornhill. Up there by Jake's eyes with that one.
Just, not a pitch you can swing at. There's very little you can do with that thing.
Gutierrez, his last at bat, grounded into the 5-4-3 double play.
Thornhill got behind Gutierrez 2-0 his last time, and then Goody fouled 2 or 3 pitches off and then tapped into the ground ball. Eric wanting to do a little more damage with the fastballs that he sees, I'm sure.
So again, he's like Barrios, now up 2 balls and no strikes. See there on your screen that Thornhill over 50 pitches now. 52 pitches on the afternoon, 34 for strikes. Gutierrez swings and misses. Thornhill works quickly. He's ready to go. Hard hit grounder through the left side for the base hit. So now, for the second time this afternoon, Tech with 2 on and 1 out. And Adam Kirsch will get an opportunity as that one is grounded. Split the difference between Zerwitz and Hinojosa. Burleson will stop at second.
Thornhill's done a good job of keeping the ball on the ground, other than Burleson's double and then Kirsch flying out to center field to lead off the second inning. Everything else has been on the ground, and he'll be hunting that double play ball here. Of course, we mentioned earlier, Gutierrez had grounded into the 5-4-3 double play, hitting the ball sharply at Gerwitz.
And Kirsch hitting .324 on the year. 26 runs batted in, leads the team. Leads the nation with 15 doubles. There's the 1-0. Evens it up at 1 ball and 1 strike. And again, that crowd here really.
Yeah, the umpires behind home plate, and I don't mean the one with the mask on, but the other ones.
Yes, the ones behind the screen.
Yeah, wanting that pitch.
Not happy with that.
Yeah, they wanting that pitch of ball width off the outside corner to not be called what it was right there, obviously.
Playing in the 4th. The Longhorns with 1 in the 1st and 1 in the 3rd.
Outfield shading Kirsch around to left just a little bit. Of course, a big crosswind from right to left field today.
Swan got a piece of it held on to by Barrera for strike 2. As Loney waits on deck for the Red Raiders. And Tech is perfect this season on Sunday afternoons. Here's the 1-2. Foul back to the screen.
These hitters have to be aware of Thornhill's good changeup. He does throw a breaking ball, but that changeup, I think, is the game changer. It's why we've seen some guys climbing the ladder and swinging at pitches up and out of the strike zone. Kirsch was a little tardy with that fastball, and it may tell you that he's trying to throttle it down a little bit and get to that off-speed stuff. Thornhill's got him right where he wants him.
4 strikeouts this afternoon for Thornhill. Hinojosa's up with it. There's a second for 1, back over to first. So just like in the first inning, a double play ends at 6-4-3. We played 4. Texas leads it by 2. You're watching Texas Tech TV on Fox. It is the Sunday afternoon, but Gus, the pitching has been outstanding for both teams. To see Thornhill has done a good job of keeping the Red Raider hitters off balance. He has 4 strikeouts. He's thrown a couple of double play balls. He's been really good today for Texas.
And we knew coming in that this was a really good matchup, especially as Sunday matchups go.
Right. And then here's Sadbury again. Sadbury's just given up the 2 runs, including 1 on the solo homer. But Sadbury has also been very effective for the Red Raiders. He has struck out 4 batters as well. He has allowed 7 hits, but several of those have been infield hits. But Texas does lead it 2-0 as we head to the 5th. We'll see Johnson, Payton, and Barrera for the Longhorns in the 5th inning. Johnson is 2 for 2 today. He had the single and scored a run in the 1st, and he had the solo homer in the 3rd. He scored both Longhorn runs this afternoon. Hitting .301 on the year. He's hitting .387 this season when he's leading off an inning.
Both of these pitchers have done a pretty good job of keeping the ball on the ground.
2 big double plays today for Texas. There's a liner right at Berrios for the first out of the 5th. Johnson hit it on the nose, but Berrios was there to make the play.
And Johnson had a pretty good swing there. I think that was a changeup. It was a changeup out over the plate, but he went down and got it and smoked it Nice piece of hitting there.
So Peyton steps in. Peyton is 0 for 2. Over to Burleson at second. And quickly 2 outs here in the 5th. Peyton, who has a streak going of 67 consecutive games where he's reached base, is now 0 for 3 this afternoon. You see Burleson.
This is where you really want to see Chris, though, strike one to Tres Barrera. Pretty good chance he's going to be taking a pitch here since both of those guys were out in such a hurry.
He's missed with that first pitch for ball 1. Barrera is 1 for 2 today. Did reach on the pass ball after he struck out in the 3rd. There's the 1-0. Squared the bunt, takes that pitch for ball 2.
See Barrera, he was taking all the way there, and I imagine he's going to take until he gets a strike. Just to Texas trying to do everything they can to make sure Sadbury didn't get a 4 or 5 pitch inning here.
Sadbury now at 83 pitches and is behind in the count 3-0. Shaw waits on deck for the Longhorns.
In these situations where you get an out,
49 for strikes.
Excuse me, when you get it out in the first 3, 2 outs in the first 3 pitches, boy, it's a really golden opportunity to go stay right at the hitters and stay aggressive and hungry and try to get off the field in 5 or 6 pitches if possible.
Here's the 3-1 from Sadbury. That one is popped up just outside the infield. Burleson calling everyone off, makes the catch. And so for the first time this afternoon, the Longhorns go in order. We played halfway through this one. Tech trailing it by 2. You're watching Texas Tech TV on Fox. Bottom of the 5th inning. Can't beat fun at the old ballpark, no matter what your age. The only thing that fan would like to see changed is the score, as the Red Raiders trail 2-0. Really, I guess probably all he's worried about is that food.
Yeah, I was supposed to say, you probably like to see that snow cone go down a little cleaner. Hurry up, Dad, get it in here.
Playing here in the 5th. Red Raiders will send up Neslony, Long, and Redmond.
Kansas leading Oklahoma 3-1. They're trying to salvage one of those games. I think OU's won the first 2 games in that series, and OSU leading TCU 6-4 in the bottom of the 6th. Not a rubber game in that series.
What's the weather like in West Virginia? I know they are playing. Weathered out yesterday. As that pitch misses low to Neslony. That's the 60th pitch of the afternoon for Thornhill. He has allowed 3 hits. He's walked 1 and struck out 4. Neslony did not play yesterday, but started on Friday night.
West Virginia leading Baylor 4-1 in the bottom of the 6th. And if I remember correctly, that while they've only played the 1 Friday game, got weathered out yesterday, I think this will only be a 1 game today because Tulane and Marshall are playing a series there, and so they're sharing the facility there in Charleston. So it will just be a 2-gamer for those 2 teams. West Virginia trying to pull out the brooms in a 2-gamer.
That's pretty deep left field. Johnson going back, but he's going to settle in and make the catch right at the warning track. Off the bat, it looked like that had an opportunity to leave the yard, but just a little underneath it, and Johnson settles in comfortably, makes the catch. Now we're going to have a pinch hitter for the Red Raiders. Alec Humphreys will pinch hit for Ryan Long. Alec got the start yesterday in left field. Hump was 1 for 2 yesterday. He's hitting .333 on the year with 8 runs batted in. I think you could call Alec a really pleasant surprise this year.
I think you are correct. And, you know, I remember when Tim was recruiting Alec, and Alec was headed to a junior college. He said, you know, every time I see him play, he's putting a barrel on something. He's hitting a double. He's hitting a bullet somewhere.
Puts that one out to right field. Shaw settles in.
Some guys just have the knack for getting their barrel to the baseball. I would say that's the case for young Alec. He pressed a little bit early this season, but he's been swinging it well recently, and he's been getting more and more playing time as a result.
So Hunter Redmond steps in. This is Hunter's first at bat. He came in last inning to replace Tyler Floyd, who'd started. Hunter hitting .276 on the year, swing and a miss for a strike. He's really been swinging the bat much better as of late. His last 7 games, he's 10 for 23, hitting .435 in those 7 games. He's got a 5-game hitting streak.
And he's been getting the bulk of the playing time recently. They had really been dividing up the playing time amongst all 3 catchers, but since Big 12 play started, Mason Randolph has been out with a little bit of an injury, and Hunter's been getting the bulk of the playing time since then and has really responded. Tech blessed with 3 pretty good catchers this year, something you usually don't have. You usually got two decent ones and a third that's just kind of emergency guy, but Tech got 3 guys who can play this year.
So now count is evened up. Hunter, very much like what we saw in the last inning in the top half, I think looking to see a few pitches after Thornhill didn't expend much energy to get the first two batters out. The 2-2 to Redmond. Popped up and fouling out of play.
And Sadberry and Thornhill are pitching like Friday night guys,
yes.
Only they're doing it on Sunday. I think it points to a couple of pretty good pitching staffs here. Both of these teams are going to fare well. I don't know how well, but they're going to fare pretty well in Big 12 play this year because they can pitch all 3 days.
2-2 to Redmond, again fouled off. I mentioned this earlier, Texas is perfect this year when leading after 5.
And until yesterday, they were perfect when
yes,
scoring a run in the first inning.
It's played by Zerwich. The throw over gets Redmond, and the Red Raiders for the 3rd time this afternoon have gone in order. We've played 5 full heading to the 6th. Tech still trailing it by 2. You're watching Texas Tech TV on Fox. Top of the 6th inning. Texas leading Texas Tech 2-0. We'll see Shaw, Gerwitz, and Hinojosa for the Longhorns here in the 6th. Chris Sadberry for the Red Raiders has thrown 85 pitches through 5 innings. He has allowed 2 runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts for Sadberry, allowing the 7 hits. Cameron Smith throwing in the Red Raider bullpen now. Cameron started yesterday through an inning. Shaw at the plate is 1 for 2. Had the single in the 1st, reached on the fielder's choice in the 3rd. Sadberry this year now through 35 2/3 innings has just allowed the 2 base on balls. The 1-1. Well, the first time he walked about it this year, everyone looked at each other like, what the heck just happened?
It doesn't happen very often.
I think you can make the argument he's been Tech's most consistent starter this year. Right off of his hand, he's...
I think Mike Morris is calling that a foul ball.
Going to be a hit by pitch.
And here comes Coach Tadlock.
Coach Tadlock will come out and want an explanation here. It sounded as if it hit off the bat. You see Tadlock trying to get an explanation. Let's take a look at it here. Can't really get a good feel there for what happened. The thing that
what Coach Tadlock's asking right here is if that's something that can be appealed. Like, can he ask for help on that, like with one of the corner umpires? Generally, that's not one that sometimes they'll get together and consult, but generally that pitch that gets up into a guy's hands on a check swing like that is not something that the corner umps can help with. It may have gotten the knob, but that too is hard to see. It kind of had a clacky sound to it that would sound like a knob, but that also can get part of the hand and fingers too.
As Gerwitz steps in, Gerwitz is 0 for 2. Off some bunt down and spins foul. Off the bat, it looked like it might be problematic, but then it just immediately spun foul. I guess I have to apologize to the Gerwitz family. I think I transposed the Z and the G on the last inning and called him Zerwitz. It's probably a good nickname for him.
You were blending the two. Zane Gerwitz just shortens to Zerwitz.
I watched the replay and make sure I didn't do that 20 times today. Again, bunts it foul.
Oh, I'm sure the Gerwitzes
They're probably here.
Nice, patient people. Cut you a little slack.
Zane has 2 sack bunts on the year. I'm expecting to be bunting here with 2 strikes. That pitch misses high. We have seen a couple of times in ball games this year where, including the Red Raiders once, went ahead and bunted with 2 strikes.
Sometimes that's dictated by the situation. Sometimes it's dictated by the hitter.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3. That's the 5th strikeout of the afternoon for Sadbury.
So he chased the breaking ball down and out of the strike zone to finish, to end the at-bat there, leading off the 4th inning. He does the same thing right there. Chases a breaking ball down and out of the strike zone for that strikeout.
You saw there, too, another really good job by Redmond of not letting that ball get by him to allow the runner Shaw at first to move over. Hinojosa at the plate. Swings and fouls that back towards Clemens in the on-deck circle. No, it's not Clemens. We're going to have a pinch hitter, it appears to be. Like number 11, Alex Silver, in the on-deck circle for the Longhorns. Another pitch down. One ball and 1 strike, 1 out as we play in the 6th. Another really good pitching duel between these two. I meant just these 2 pitchers because we really haven't had much of a pitcher's duel all weekend. After Texas scored 11 runs on Friday night, Texas scored 8 runs yesterday.
And this feels like Friday night baseball here. Minus, of course, the daylight and those
variety of other things.
Yeah, you know. I think you know what I mean.
Throw over to first and Shaw back on the back. Shaw with 6 stolen bases on the year, has one already today.
Corey Taylor now warming in the bullpen for Tech. Cameron Smith was throwing earlier.
There he goes, the runner. Huge jump. The throw down by Redmond. Not in time. So that's the 2nd stolen base of the afternoon for Shaw, his 7th of the year. Again, he got a really good jump. A pretty good throw by Redmond, but really no opportunity. That again was stolen off of the pitcher.
And we've referred to that earlier, but Texas has a really good read on Sadbury right now, and they're getting gigantic jumps.
Opposing base runners this year, 10 for 11 in stolen base attempts against Sadbury. The only blemish was the one there that Floyd threw out Shaw at 3rd in the 3rd inning.
And that's something that Chris can work on and develop, and he'll have to. Left-handers got to hold runners better than that.
So Sadbury now at 98 pitches, which is a season high for him. Taking a long time, and Hinojosa's had enough. He'll step out. Hinojosa reached on the infield single back in the 4th inning. Lines that foul on the left side. And misplayed by the saddle trip out there.
Either misplayed or not played at all.
I'm guessing maybe a combination of both. It's not really one you want to see come screaming at you, I don't think.
No.
3-2 pitch. Floated over the head of Proudfoot into left field. Runner will be held at third. So Hinojosa with his second hit of the afternoon puts runners at the corners. So just a little blooper out into shallow left field.
A breaking ball from Sadbury, and he ran it in on Hinojosa's hands and got a little bit of a jam shot there, a soft liner into left field. Pretty good base running by Shaw there to wait and make sure that cleared the infield. Shaw had gotten thrown out to end the inning trying to steal third base earlier, so he's probably thinking, I've had enough of coach getting on to me for my base run, and I'm going to be extra patient here.
Here comes Tadlock. As you see, Sadbury at 100 pitches, and we're going to have a change. Is Corey Taylor is going to come in for the Red Raiders. So Chris Sadbury is done for the afternoon. Texas leads it by 2. We'll come back and tell you about Corey Taylor after these messages. You're watching Texas Tech TV on Fox. We're back at Rip Griffin Park, and the new pitcher for the Red Raiders is the right-hander Corey Taylor.
This is Corey's 9th appearance. One of those was a start. He's a 3-0 record, a 1.31 ERA, and 20 2/3 innings. He's allowed 18 hits, walked 3, struck out 15. Opponents batting .237 off the junior right-hander.
He's making his second appearance of the weekend for the Red Raiders. Sadbury went 5 1/3. He allowed 8 hits and 2 runs. Both those earned. Both of the runners on base are his responsibility. No walks for Sadbury. He struck out 5. And he will see a pinch hitter, Alex Silver. Silver making just his second appearance of the year. He has scored a run. So he replaces Clemens, who is 0 for 2 today.
Tech infield will definitely be hunting the double play ball here.
Runners at the corners and 1 out. Big batter here for Taylor to try to keep this a 2-0 game. Throw over to first, and Hinojosa back on the bag. Hinojosa has 2 stolen bases this year.
The runners on first and third and 1 out. That's a pretty good situation for a safety squeeze. We saw Texas try that on Friday night. Of course, the key to that play working is bunting the thing to the first baseman.
He does square to bunt. But now he's in a hole, no balls and 2 strikes. Saw Gutierrez crashing in from first for the Red Raiders.
You've got to keep that bunt away from the pitcher's mound. And on Friday, when the safety squeeze didn't work, Hinojosa bunted it back to the mound. If you're going to bunt it, the safety squeeze, you really got to make that first baseman feel the pressure.
Go over to first. And that was a bang play too at the plate on Friday. Call strike 3. That's a big strikeout of Silver. And now 2 outs in the inning. Take another look at it. Just froze the pitch at the knees. So it leaves it up to Madison Carter. Carter is 2 for 2 today. 2 for 6 on the season. So we're seeing some guys here for Texas that getting an opportunity. Carter swinging a miss for a strike.
Carter went up there hunting a fastball and swung over a little off-speed pitch down in the strike zone.
Texas has left 5 on through the first 5. Again, throw over to first, and again, Hinojosa dives back in safely.
Corey will probably do, or I'll say it this way, I don't know if he'll do a better job of holding runners, but I don't think the Texas base runners will get the same liberties off of Corey that they got off Sadbury.
Pitch foul back to the screen, and now Taylor definitely in the driver's seat. Cameron Smith still throwing in the Red Raider bullpen.
Cam started yesterday's game, pitched the first inning, so he's probably got some bullets left to fire here today.
Pitch fouled off on a play down the right side. Mentioned again, next week, Tech back on the road, playing 3 in Stillwater against Oklahoma State. Texas goes home to take on Baylor. Big series for the Red Raiders this weekend. You want to take care of business at home and win your series at home. But trailing at 2-0 as we play in the 6th. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Ball strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts for Taylor to end the inning. So the Longhorns get 2 on, but they strand them both. We have played 5.5 going to the bottom of the 6th. Tech still trails it by 2. You're watching Texas Tech TV on Fox. As we play in the 6th, Tech trailing it by 2 2-0. 3,992 Red Raider fans here in attendance. I don't know, all of them can dance as well as that one, but that brings to this weekend's attendance to 12,551, which is the largest weekend series attendance in the facility history. So nice job by the Red Raider fans coming out this weekend. Here in the 6th, Tech will send up Proudfoot, Smith, and Burleson, 9, 1, and 2 in the order. Proudfoot swings the first pitch and pops it up. Silver stayed in the game at first. Goes over and chases that as he watches it go into the crowd for strike 1. So Silver at first for the Longhorns. Gerwitz, Hinojosa, Marlowe, and Silver the infield.
You're hearing some of the attendance figures have they're making a distinction about back to 2012 and then Rip Griffin Park.
Right.
And that, of course, having to do with the fact that the stadium was reconfigured a little bit prior to the 2012 season. Attendance and capacities changed. I think the biggest attendance ever was in the 1996 regional that was hosted here. And back in those days, there was more room down the foul lines just to stack them up in standing room only down there.
That was lifted into right center field. Proudfoot gets his first hit of the afternoon. And so he leads off the 6th with the single. Brings the tying run to the plate as Proudfoot continues to be effective since his return.
Well, the thing you hope for right here as a Red Raider fan is the fact that Corey Taylor came in with 1st and 3rd and 1 out, got a couple of strikeouts, a couple of punch-outs to get out of that mess and give the crowd some life. And now Proudfoot with the leadoff single. There's a little bit of energy in the ballpark. You got to feel like a little bit of the momentum has shifted.
Smith is 0 for 2. Proudfoot's single is his 100th career hit as a Red Raider.
Of course, that momentum shift is only as good as a double play ground ball right here, and Thornhill's done a good job of getting some key double plays. You know, that's what he's hunting right here.
2 double plays on the afternoon for the Longhorns.
A couple of inning enders, too.
Yep, 1 back in the 1st when Tech had runners at 1st and 2nd, and then 1 in the 4th with runners at 1st and 2nd. This is only the 3rd inning today where Tech has had a base runner. Went in order in the 2nd and 3rd and the 5th. Thornhill's been very efficient. And how about that? Hinojosa to Marlowe, back to 1st, and Smith beats it out. So nice hustle by Steven to avoid the double play. Proudfoot is wiped out 6-4 at 2nd. Take a look at it again. Bang, bang play there at 1st. And so you just trade out Proudfoot for Smith at 1st, and it brings up Burleson. Burleson has 2 hits today, a double in the 1st and a single in the 4th. Pitch misses down and away.
Makes you wonder if there might be a hit and run opportunity just to stay out of that double play ground ball. Feel like Burleson can get a pitch he can handle, go ahead and start Smith and let Burley put it on the ground somewhere and stay out of that double play.
See Burleson at 292. On March 6th of this year, he was hitting 213.
Yeah, he and Berryhouse got off to some slow starts. And really the numbers weren't that good entering into Big 12 play. It's like, man, you put yourself in a hole needing to bail out your batting average in Big 12 play, because that's where the good arms are.
See Skip Johnson going to come out and visit. You see Thornhill at 80 pitches on the afternoon, 53 for strikes.
I think this, there's probably a tactical discussion going on here, but this is also a situation in which Texas may literally be a couple of pitches away from a pitching change if Burley reaches or does something. They've had double barrel action. Neither guy really throwing to get hot, but guys have been moving around for a couple innings, so they're probably close.
So the meeting is broken up. You see Stephen Smith over at first. Stephen has 1 stolen base on the year. So Burleson ready to go. 1 out, 1 on. The ball ripped off the railing down the left side. Goodness gracious, that hit that railing, or it might have taken off a limb from somebody. Sends a little buzz through the crowd. See the kid down there that has the ball now, and he's glad it hit that railing first.
Yeah, he's glad it hit about 3 things before it got to him.
Thing was a missile.
The fastball in and off the plate, and Burley jumped it.
Barrera held that pitch for Mike Morris to take a little closer look, but it's ball 3.
Oklahoma has scored and tied the game against Kansas there in Lawrence. They're tied 3-3 in the bottom of the 9th. Kansas hitting. Kansas trying to salvage 1 game in that series.
Brings Kansas down to earth a little bit. There goes the runner at first. The pitch missed away. The ball 4. That's just the 2nd walk of the afternoon for Thornhill. It puts runners at first and 2nd. So the pitch missed down away with the runner moving. And here comes another mound visit, which means that will be it for Thornhill. Thornhill will leave the game after throwing 83 pitches. See Morgan Cooper making his way in for the Longhorns to be the new pitcher. The 2nd of the afternoon. It's now time to update the Big 12 standings, find out where the Red Raiders sit. Brought to you by our friends at LubbockStudentHousing.com. And Texas Tech came in this weekend 4-4. They came into this afternoon's game 4-4 after having split the series so far. And here come the standings now as we take a look at those. West Virginia with just the 1 win, and they're trying to get the 2nd win this afternoon. Oklahoma, if they can win this afternoon, Gus, would be sitting at pretty good 5-1, especially having been on the road this weekend.
Yeah, no question. And West Virginia leading that game over Baylor 4-1 late.
So you see Baylor, who Tech has already faced this year, sitting at 4-3. The Red Raiders can do themselves a lot of good with a win. LubbockStudentHousing.com, your housing search starts here as we see Morgan Cooper.
This is Cooper's 12th appearance, a 2-1 record. He does have a save, a 2.37 ERA. In 19 innings, he's allowed 17 hits, walked 4, struck out 14. Opponents are batting .236 off the freshman right-hander. Big kid just up the road from Austin there in Gerald, Texas. He threw a scoreless 8th inning here on Friday night. If you were going to draw up what you would want a freshman pitcher to look like, Morgan Cooper might be that. Long, lanky, good arm, 6'5". You got to believe that frame's going to fill out a little bit more, and he's going to do nothing but get better.
Thornhill went 5 1/3. Did not allow a run, but both runners on are his responsibility. He struck out 4 and walked 2 and allowed 4 hits. Again, Take a look at the crowd, part of that record-setting weekend attendance here at Griffin Park. 3,992 here today as Jake Berrios steps in for the Red Raiders. Runners at first and second. Just one out. So Cooper will try to hold the Red Raiders at bay as we play in the 6th. Misses with his first pitch.
Well, Thornhill had the double play ball figured out. Twice getting the double play ball to end innings in which Red Raiders had runners on first and second with one out. And Cooper's looking for that very thing right here.
Jake takes strike one. Still have a left-hander up in the Texas bullpen. Cameron Smith has stopped throwing in the Red Raider bullpen. One ball and one strike, 2 on for the Red Raiders. Just fouls that off. Strike 2. Opposing batters hitting .333 against Cooper with runners on base. Berrios ready to go again. Been picking up a little bit. 1-2 pitch. Now evens the count up. Not really been much of a factor today.
More of a crosswind from right to left.
Ball's lifted out to left field. Johnson hauls it in for the second out of the inning. Again, off the bat, I think you mentioned this earlier, this crowd really just seems to be primed to make some noise and get excited about something, but Johnson was able to run that down.
Johnson can go get it in left field. He can really run.
As can Payton in center, so it's...
They're going to shade Gutierrez around toward left field. Payton a few steps left of center field, and Johnson taking a few steps over toward the corner. Of course, the wind's going to push a ball that direction.
Gutierrez is 1 for 2 today. Hit into the double play to end the first. He had a base hit in the 4th. And then he was erased on the double play in that inning. The ball hit by Kirsch.
Cooper's throwing hard. He's challenging these Red Raider hitters.
Gutierrez tried to hold up but couldn't.
Just as I say that, he throws his first off-speed pitch and makes Gutierrez look pretty bad. A good 1-0 slider right there. Nicely done.
Buckled Gutierrez's knees.
Indeed.
Two outs in the inning. Fly ball. Routine can of corn out to center for Payton. He makes the catch, and that ends the inning. So Tech leaves 2 on. Not able to get a run across. We played 6. Texas leads it by 2. You're watching Texas Tech TV on Fox. Top of the 7th inning. It's a bit of a nail-biter for most fans, but not everyone is all that interested in what's going on in the field. Tech trailing by 2 as we head to the 7th. Corey Taylor on the mound for the Red Raiders. He will see the top of the order for Texas: Marlowe, Johnson, and Payton. Taylor came in to put out the fire in the 6th. Back-to-back strikeouts to end the 6th inning when Texas had 2 on and 1 out. In relief of Chris Sadberry, the Tech starter. Sadberry went 5 1/3 and allowed just the 2 runs, but Tech trails it 2-0. Marlowe is 0 for 3. Grounded out to Sadberry in the 1st. He struck out in the 2nd, grounded out to short in the 4th. Marlowe on the season hitting .260. He had 4 hits on Friday night. And now he's heading to count 3 balls and no strikes. He leads the Big 12 in walks. He has 24 walks on the season. Taking all the way, and he takes that pitch down the middle for a strike. Well, now the key, I think, for Taylor and the Red Raiders is just to hold this at 2 and see if you can mount something in these final 3 innings. Marlowe draws the walk to lead things off here in the 7th. Brings up Ben Johnson again. You look at that pitch down low.
That's not the way to keep him off the scoreboard. Walking the leadoff man.
See Johnson taking a long look down and see Marlowe over at first. Marlowe runs the base paths very well.
Johnson can really run. We've talked about that a few times. He will be a tough out if he's bunting, even if he gives himself up. You've got to do things quickly with him out there. Here comes Coach Stadlock, and they're going to talk about this.
Yeah, because you talk a lot about this Texas team is 5th in the country in sacrifice bunts. Lead the Big 12. They talk a lot about the scope of their offense and what they like to do and moving runners over, executing their offense. And even though Johnson has left the yard today with a home run, you would expect that he's probably going to try to put something down. You see Ryan Mosley now throwing in the Tech bullpen. Have not seen Mosley yet this weekend, so he's plenty fresh. And obviously a key for the Red Raiders for Texas. John Curtis, who has 4 saves, has not thrown this weekend. And so we're going to have a change for the Red Raiders. We will take a break. Texas leading it by a score of 2-0. You're watching Texas Tech TV on Fox. Back at Rip Griffin Park, Texas Tech trailing it by 2. The new pitcher for the Red Raiders is the freshman Ryan Mosley.
This is Ryan's 12th outing, all out of the bullpen. He has no record, but does have 2 saves, a 1.37 ERA, and 19 2/3 innings. He's allowed 12 hits, walked 1, struck out 18. Opponents batting 176 off the freshman right-hander. And just down the road, pitched at Lubbock Cooper High School.
So Corey Taylor went 2/3 of an inning. No one put a bat on the ball. 2 strikeouts and a walk. Did not allow a run, but the runner at first is his responsibility. Mosley's a guy that a lot of people really liked coming out of high school, and he was drafted by the Dodgers, but decided to come play college baseball.
A converted catcher early in his high school career. He was just a bazooka-armed catcher. Usually guys like that get a turn on the mound.
And he did.
Yes, he did, and he delivered. Pitched his Lubbock Cooper club to the Final Four last year. A couple of good players on that team.
So Johnson will step in. He is 2 for 3 today and has scored both Texas runs. He does square to bunt. Bunts, gets a piece of it, fouls it off for strike 1. Johnson does have 4 sack bunts on the season. Eight hits today for Texas. They've left 7 on base. They've left 27 on the first 2 games. So they've left a lot of meat on the bone this weekend. 1 ball and 1 strike. No one out here in the 7th. Still not scoring to bunt. It's the fly ball in a shallow center. Smith coming in. Proudfoot going out, but Smith will make the catch. So there's 1 away. Bunted the first pitch and didn't bunt after that. And Smith tracked that down for the first out of the inning. Mark Payton steps in. Remember, Payton has a streak going of 67 consecutive games where he has reached base. And he is 0 for 3 today.
Payton, anything can happen here. He can drag bunt, put the runner in motion, do a little hitting and running.
Pitch misses down and away for ball 1. Remember Martini from Kansas State. Nick Martini has the Big 12 record of 93 consecutive games where he reached base at least once. It's an amazing stat when you think about it. Count is even up at 1.
Yeah, it really is. That's a special number to get to there.
Runner at first. It's it over to Proudfoot at short. He flips it to Burleson for 1. Back over to first. Not in time. So he'll be safe on the fielder's choice. 6-4 on the force out at second. Payton, good speed. Okay, he did beat it. So brings up Barrera. Barrera is 1 for 3.
And I think as the streak goes, I think that does not count as having reached base.
I was just going to say that I believe if the streak is still in jeopardy.
Yeah, I think the way that streak reads is it's having reached base safely, which means base hit by pitch, walk.
Yeah, and error also doesn't.
Correct.
Swing and a miss. Strike 2 to Barrera. Barrera is 1 for 3 today. Fooled on that pitch by Mosley. Looking ahead to the 7th for the Red Raiders. Kirsch, Neslony, and Humphreys due up in the bottom half of the inning. Runners going. The 0-2 pitch misses low, and Redmond won't even throw down. So that's Payton's 5th stolen base of the year.
That's a good veteran stolen base there. Down in the count 0-2, you're basically saying I'm either going to get the bag and put some pressure on you, or you're going to get us out, and Barrera's going to get a new count to hit with in the next inning. Now as it is, if he can dump a little hit into the outfield, he can drive in a run here. May have been the veteran Payton taking some liberties off of the freshman Mosley. If Mosley's thinking, hey, one more strike and I'm in the dugout.
He looks back to second. Chopped into the UT dugout. Texas with the run in the first and a run in the third, and that's been it for both teams. Barrera is hitting just below 300, 297 with runners in scoring position. One ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Barrera stays alive, gets a piece of it and fouls it off. Yeah, Tech will travel to Midland Tuesday to take on New Mexico and then head to Stillwater for 3 against Oklahoma State Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
And then home for a while. They can unpack their
stretch.
bags for a while after that, with the exception of a couple midweeks. 3 consecutive weekends in a row and 4 of the last 5 at home.
Runners going to third. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Doesn't matter. So Mosley works out of the jam. We have played to the 7th inning stretch. Texas leads it by 2. You're watching Texas Tech TV on Fox. Bottom of the 7th inning, 7th inning stretch here in the 3,992. Enjoying some sun and good baseball. The Red Raiders trailing it by 2. Record-setting attendance this weekend at Rip Griffin Park. Even got a Cincinnati Red fan in attendance. That's always a good sign.
Yeah, and one doing play-by-play.
To the bottom of the 7th. Kerr steps in and swings at the first pitch and pops it up into shallow right field. See if it stays in play. And then a little miscommunication between Silver and Marlowe, and no one gets to it. That was just, you talk about a no man's land, and you got the wind pushing at it. You got 3 guys converging on it. And then this is generally what happens in that case.
Yeah, and you really, in terms of a priority scale to that, it's Silver's ball until Marlowe calls him off. And then if the right fielder gets involved, he can call off either 2 of those. It almost seemed like there was some miscommunication there because you saw Marlowe pull back right at the last second. Not sure either one of them really wanted it. Like to see Adam Kirsch take advantage of that, get on base, wreak a little havoc right here.
Travis Duke and John Curtis now throwing in the Longhorn bullpen. Duke, a left-hander, is hammered out deep right center field. Payton coming over, as is the right fielder Shaw, and Shaw makes the catch for the first out. And Gus, I think the wind might have helped that a little bit, held it up in the air a little bit.
Yeah, and you know, those big fly balls like that, unless they're just crushed, they're like pretty fireworks. You kind of go, ooh.
Oh.
You know, because you're just, with the bats the way they are, and then, you know, you just got to really get on a ball to drive it into the gaps in the air like that. Especially with an outfielder like Texas has, where you've got really good athletes and a guy like Payton who really knows what he's doing.
Yeah, you had 2 guys out there that could have made the play. Shaw, the right fielder, made it, but Payton was right there as well. As Loney lifts that one out to pretty deep left field. Johnson going back at the warning track, now comes in a few steps.
Case in point.
For a quick second out. More fireworks. Thought that one maybe off the bat might have had a little more opportunity to leave.
And I mentioned earlier before the game that the wind is kind of flipping out of the south, which means it's either blowing straight in from right field or it's a south-southwest. And so it's really not blowing out to left field the way that people wanted on that fly ball. It's really more of a crosswind, which will help a ball, but not in a tremendous way.
So 2 outs for Humphreys. Humphreys flied out to right in his only at bat today. He pinch hit for Long after Long struck out in the 2nd. Just 4 hits this afternoon for the Red Raiders. The base runners have been at a premium.
Had a conversation on Friday with college baseball Hall of Famer, Longhorn radio play-by-play color analyst Keith Moreland, and he talked about, he was grumbling about the balls and just the fact that you can't get one out.
Ball's line foul down the right side. Moreland going solo today in the booth.
Is that right?
Well, he's off doing something for college basketball.
Keith did 3 years of Chicago Cubs, so he's, and not to mention years and years of Longhorn baseball and football back in the day. And so he, if there was ever a guy who's versatile enough to do it, it's Keith. He was talking about, man, we got to change the baseballs and get some offense back in this in the college game.
And we're going to have a new ball next year, correct? So that'll
kind of essentially it's a minor league ball, which I guess a lot of these guys, especially the guys that go to Cape Cod, it's essentially a lower seam ball that'll fly a little bit better. They estimate, I forget what the number was, another 20 feet on a 350-foot fly ball or something.
2-pitch. Line past the first baseman, Silver, into right field. So Humphreys with the 5th Red Raider hit of the afternoon.
Now, in Alec, you see a kid who's really capable of making the 2-strike adjustments and shorten up, and that was just a good example of staying on a ball, keeping it in play, finding the barrel. It's a good piece of 2-strike hitting there, giving us some life here.
So Hunter Redmond steps in. Redmond 0 for 1 today, grounded out to 3rd. Back in the 5th inning, he came in to replace Tyler Floyd, who started behind the plate this afternoon. And that over the head of the shortstop, Hinojosa into center field. So back-to-back singles for the Red Raiders with 2 outs here in the inning. Hunter came up looking for a first pitch, and he got something to hit.
Yeah, I think Morgan Cooper is a lot like Ryan Mosley, and both guys are hard-throwing, fastball first freshmen, and We'll probably see the Longhorns start to make some adjustments to that, too. There's no sense in looking for a volley of secondary pitches, and Hunter went up there looking for the first pitch fastball and got it. And this time got it over Hinojosa on Friday. Hinojosa climbed the ladder and made a great play on a ball. Couldn't get to that one.
So the tying run now at first base for the Red Raiders, and Tim Proudfoot at the plate. Proudfoot 1 for 2 today. The off-speed pitch missed down and away. Proudfoot had a single back in the 6th. Timmy now at 400 on the year.
Cooper coming close to bouncing through his set position. Have to do be a little bit more deliberate and come in set.
He steps off.
I want a balk call. Well, he doesn't want a ball call. The Red Raiders would probably love to see a ball call.
Just 3 balks on the year by this Longhorn pitch staff. That ball is skied in the air in the left field. Again, that might be trouble as it goes into foul territory and bounces away. Saw the third baseman Gerwitz, Hinojosa, and Johnson all there.
The wind giveth and the wind taketh away, and in that instant, the wind gives Tim Proudfoot some life, because the crosswind pushed that thing out of foul territory and over the fence and out of play.
Take another look at it here. You've got the short fence down there by the Tech clubhouse. Better view, and there you go. It actually landed inside.
Yeah, it sure did. You know, that's still a hard ball to catch unless you can get there in camp, because you're gonna.
1-1 pitch missed down and away.
Oh, Cooper, a guy that he just went to his secondary pitch and missed with it. You got to believe you're getting a fastball right here. Proudfoot will want to cheat to that thing a little bit. See what he can do.
Head to count 2-1. Pops that up behind home plate. The catcher Barrera makes the catch to end the inning. So Tech again gets a couple base runners, but leaves them both on base. We've played 7 full, heading to the 8th. Texas leads it by 2. You're watching Texas Tech TV on Fox. Top of the 8th inning. Texas Tech trailing Texas by 2 as we go to the 8th. Again, nearly 4,000 in the house today. Have had over 12,500 this weekend to watch baseball between these two ranked opponents. As we head to the 8th, Texas will send Shaw, Gerwitz, and Hinojosa to the plate here in the 8th. Face Ryan Mosley. Mosley, the 3rd pitcher of the afternoon for Texas Tech. Corey Taylor went 2/3 of an inning. Starter Chris Statterbury went 5 1/3. Swing at the first pitch. Proudfoot waits on it. And there is one down here in the 8th.
Everything's final in the Big 12, but this ball game, West Virginia hung on to beat Baylor 4-1. Oklahoma State won 9-4 there in Stillwater to take that series. Kansas scored on the bottom of the 9th to beat Oklahoma 4-3 and salvage one game in that series in Lawrence. And Kansas State beat Creighton today 8-2.
Gerwitz takes the first pitch for a ball. Gerwitz is 0 for 3 today, has a couple strikeouts. Texas has left 8 runners on base today, 35 this weekend.
Here's an interesting score. How about Middle Tennessee State 8, Rice 5? Final. Doesn't happen very often, does it?
That, not really. I think the home crowd is going to leave today a little dissatisfied with home plate umpire Mike Morris, but
and I would tell you that he hadn't had a bad game.
Been just kind of a crotchety crowd today, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a function of a
big game. And
yeah, rubber game and a 2-0 ball game, tense and tight, and everybody.
I haven't seen much grumbling from the benches.
Yeah, you haven't seen that, and you haven't seen it from the hitters. And that's generally the key indicator I look for. If you got a bunch of hitters crowing, that'll usually give you a decent idea.
Barrios goes up with it. And there are quickly 2 outs in the 8th. Mosley has been very effective since he came on. 3 ground outs and a strikeout. Hinojosa steps in. Hinojosa 2 for 3 today. 14 RBIs on the season. Doesn't happen very often this weekend. The Longhorns went in order in the 5th. That's the only time today. Friday night they had at least 1 base runner in every inning. Mosley is set. Matt Withrow, who had been in the past a weekend starter for the Red Raiders, and he threw and pitched very well Tuesday against Arkansas Pine Bluff, is up and throwing right now in the Tech bullpen. I think a lot of people would argue that Withrow, when he's throwing well, has maybe the best stuff on the staff.
Mosley's gone deep into some games. I think he had a 4+ inning relief outing earlier this year, but I'm sure that getting Withrow up is just insurance in case he does struggle.
Pitch missed high and tight for ball 4.
And if nothing else, it becomes Matt's midweek bullpen session.
So just the 2nd walk today by Tech pitchers. That put the ball up underneath Hinojosa's chin. So Silver steps in. Silver struck out looking in his first at bat of the afternoon. He's also 0 for 1 on the season overall. 2 away here in the 8th. So 5 straight balls thrown by Mosley.
Mosley with only 1 walk and 19 2/3 coming in. Not something he's done very often.
Here's the 1-0. Wins the streak with the pitch at the knees for a strike.
You know, the concern with him coming in was just how soon he would be able to really command the strike zone, because he was kind of a high walk, high strikeout, hard thrower last year. See the impact of Ray Hayward.
Chopper past Mosley, but Burleson is up with it to get the runner and end the inning. So the Longhorns leave a runner on as we head to the bottom of the 8th. Tech still trails it by a score of 2-0. You're watching Texas Tech TV on Fox. It's time for the College All Access Report, brought to you by Mattress Firm. You see Eric Gutierrez, Gus, and he's got a little history with somebody else on the playing field today.
Yeah, high school teammates with Tres Barrera. They're in Sherryland down around Mission, Texas. Those guys, a couple of really good college prospects and good college players, and I'm sure that was quite a team to deal with down in the Valley.
You see Tim Proudfoot there, but Barrera for Texas and Gutierrez for Texas Tech, the 2 guys in question. And again, those 2 guys would have passed with each other. That's your all-access firm, Mattress Firm all-access report. All right, new pitcher for the Longhorns, John Curtis, and he has been their closer, so the sledding getting a little tougher for the Red Raiders.
This is his 10th appearance. One of those was a start, no record, 4 saves. In 10 2/3 innings, he went 5 hits, walked 4, struck out 8. Opponents batting 135 off the big right-hander.
He'll face the top of the order for Texas Tech. Smith, Burleson, and Barrios.
Curtis, a guy who missed last year with arm injury. Going very well early this year.
Has an opportunity for his 5th save. Climb the ladder and swing and a miss for a strike by Smith.
Can't do that.
Cooper went an inning and 2/3. He allowed 2 hits. So he did his job, kind of bridge the gap to the 8th to get Curtis in there. No balls and 2 strikes. Tech had Burleson reach 2nd in the 1st, and Burleson reached 2nd in the 4th, and Smith reached 2nd in the 6th, And Humphreys reached second in the 7th, but that's it. They've not had a base runner past second base the entire ballgame. And Hossa is up with that. Throw to first for the first out of the inning. Kind of funny off the bat, didn't it? It sounded funny off the Smith's bat.
Yeah, it was a little jam shot. Curtis throwing hard. Sawed Steven off right there.
We talked a lot about a lot of these Texas defenders, especially in the outfield, but Hinojosa has been really solid at shortstop. He did have the one error, but not today.
Yeah, yesterday. Yeah, saw him play at Minute Maid. Of course, you and I got the chance to see the Horns play a couple games down there, not against Tech, but just in their other games. Boy, he can pick it. I really like him. And he was a guy everybody knew about coming out of high school, highly touted.
Burleson quickly in a hole. He is 2 for 2 today. These are the top 2 fielding teams in the Big 12. Coming into this ballgame, Tech actually now came in with the top fielding percentage. Followed closely by the University of Texas. A pitch foul back to the screen. Yeah, this has not typically been a trouble spot for the Red Raiders. Sunday, they've been really good all season long on Sundays, but got to give a lot of credit to Nathan Thornhill and Morgan Cooper for shutting this Red Raider offense down, and now John Curtis trying to do the same. And again, this time Burleson climbs the ladder, and he strikes out. 5th strikeout today by Texas pitching. And they're now 2 outs. Burleson 2 for 3 now on the day. Barrios will step in. Jake is 0 for 2 this afternoon. He walked in the first. He's averaging .288 on the year. Curtis kind of a lanky kid, isn't he?
He is cutting it loose today.
Yeah, he got plenty of whip there in his arm.
He is getting there in a hurry.
Gerwitz kind of handcuffed, but comes up with it. And so the Red Raiders go in order in the 8th. We're heading now to the 9th inning. Texas leading it by 2. You're watching Texas Tech TV on Fox. Top of the 9th inning. It's not fake mustache. That's a real mustache day here at the ballpark. We had fake mustache day a couple weeks ago, but Tech trailing it by 2 as we go to the 9th. Beautiful afternoon. The weather has really cooperated, and the Longhorns will send to the plate here in the 9th inning Carter, Marlowe, and Johnson to face Mosley. Tech trailing it by 2. Longhorns with a run in the first and a run in the third, and that's been the only scoring today. As Gus mentioned, it's almost like a Friday night game with the pitching we've seen today. Both teams have used 3 pitchers.
And both teams with fresh bullpens, able to go to their closers a little bit earlier than you might often see on a Sunday.
Chop fouled on the third base side. Tech trying to go over 500 on the year in Big 12 play. Red Raiders come in 4-4 in conference action. Texas trying to draw to 500. They come in 2-3. Texas lost its opening series at home against Kansas. Top off the right. Kirsch drifting over to his right. He'll settle in to make the catch. On the way here in the 9th.
I think Tech's played more games than anybody in the Big 12, but we usually have to start a week sooner. I guess us and Baylor, well, no, now Baylor haven't dealt with the rain out, but of course Tech will have the 1 week in there in mid-May that they don't play during finals, so everyone catches up. It'll all even out at the end, won't it, Robert?
They will even out at the end, except for Baylor and West Virginia, because they've lost the game. But besides that, it evens up. Yeah. I love the concept.
Indeed.
Marlowe walked in his last at bat, the only time he has reached base today. 1 out in the 9th. Both runs today scored by Ben Johnson. Around at the right side, Gutierrez thought about taking it himself, but flipped it to Mosley for the 2nd out of the inning. And this is something they work on every day in practice.
You see him work on field in their position like that, and you also see him working a lot on bunts, bunt coverages, and defending the bunts, and making sure they're communicating.
The aforementioned Ben Johnson now in the batter's box. He had the single and scored in the 1st and had the solo homer to lead off the 3rd. Drops the bunt down foul. You talked about this earlier in the ball game. He's got very good speed.
He was quite a quarterback at Westwood High School there in Round Rock. Good athlete.
Listed at 6 foot 191. Looks almost a little bigger than that to me, but who might have quibble? No balls and a strike with 2 away. Couldn't catch up. So it's 0-2. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th for the Red Raiders would be the middle of the lineup. Gutierrez, Kirsch, and Neslony. 4, 5, and 6 to try to get something going. Great little camera view right there from the front row. Little blooper out in the shallow left field. Neslony coming in, Proudfoot going out, drops in between the both of them. And how about that? He's going to turn it into possibly 2, and he does.
It's great base running there. He was barreling off the bat, and with 2 outs, you're trying to do everything you can to get to second base. It's worth the risk. And sure enough, the ball hit and kind of checked up on Neslony. You saw it kind of spin away from him. Even though he came up with it clean, it was still more than he could do to really have anything on the throw. It was good base running there by Johnson.
And as you mentioned, on Friday night, that'll look like a screaming shot to the corner and left in the box score.
Oh, yeah.
Just put it in a really difficult spot. And they're going to walk Peyton, so how about that?
Yeah, he'll get a streak.
He'll get a streak continued. The 68 now consecutive games where he's reached base. How about that? Karma sometimes, right? Really?
Very nice.
I mean, he's the kind of player who probably deserves that kind of a break.
Oh, yeah.
He'd probably rather swing the bat, try to get an RBI, but
well, you know that.
He'll take this.
That's the way Barrera swung it the last 2 days.
Whoa. Back to the backstop, and how about that? That's going to allow the runner to move up to 3rd.
And that's not entirely uncommon in college baseball, because a lot of times in high school they can just do the 4-finger thing and send them down to first. And you see a lot of guys that have just never really executed an intentional walk.
So runners at 1st and 3rd on the wild pitch.
The thing that becomes problematic there beyond just another 90 feet is that now you're going to be dealing with defending the 1st and 3rd situation. And I'm sure that's what Coach Tadlock's coming out right here to say, all right, here's what we need to make sure we're all together on this deal, because Peyton's could very well try to get a jump. Take the bag, wreak a little havoc, get out there and hang up in a rundown, especially if they get Barrera down 2 strikes.
You know, what's interesting is that wild pitch is, we've talked about this before with the reconfiguration of this stadium. Obviously, the wall is much closer. And a lot of times you'll see that thing ricochet back where the catcher can make a play.
Turn around and play it off the wall.
Didn't have the opportunity there, especially with Johnson with his good speed. But
yep.
Runners at the corners. Mosley will now see what he can do against Barrera. Barrera singled, had the RBI in the 1st. That has held up so far. 39 pitches now for Mosley on the afternoon. Barrera struck out in his last at bat. He's 1 for 4 today. 2 outs, runners at the corners. Well, you know Texas would love to tack on just one more insurance run here in the 9th.
Especially after the quick first 2 outs and the little bloop double. This inning has a little more life than Tech would like to see. You got a good hitter like Barrera hitting in a 2-0 count.
Paints the corner to make it 2 balls and 1 strike. Again, good speed on the base pass for the Longhorns. Johnson at third, Payton at first. Cameron Smith throwing again in the bullpen. Cameron's got a bit of a rubber arm. He can throw a lot.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss.
Barrera helped Ryan Mosley out on that pitch. That fastball was probably in off the plate a little bit. Definitely in off the plate. You know what Barrera's trying to do. He's trying to gear up and torch something somewhere and drive in that 3rd run.
Johnson at third. Payton at first. Swing and a miss. And that will end the inning. So the Longhorns leave 2 on here in the 8th, heading to the 9th. Red Raiders trailing it by 2. You're watching Texas Tech TV on Fox. Texas Tech trailing it as we head to the bottom of the 9th inning. The Red Raiders will send the middle of the lineup to the plate. Join us again on Sunday, April 13th, as Texas Tech hosts Kansas State. First pitch set for 1 o'clock. Texas Tech Red Raider baseball right here on Texas Tech TV on Fox. Part of a big weekend. That weekend will be the red and black game for football, and always a fun weekend. A lot of people come in town for that and stay around for baseball.
A lot of folks buzzing after the Tech football scrimmage down in Midland yesterday. The most important guy buzzing was Cliff Kingsbury.
Got to have him buzzing.
Seemed to be happy with the proceedings. Wasn't that your impression?
He seemed to be pretty pleased, yeah. So we'll see Gutierrez, Kirsch, and Neslony. Tech needs a base runner to get things going. They trail it by 2 here in the 9th. Gutierrez takes the first pitch for a strike. How about that for Texas? Through 3 games, the Longhorns have left 38 base runners on.
To their credit, they've had that many on.
Yep. And they've scored enough today to lead it here in the 9th. Longhorns scored 11 on Friday. 0-2 to Gutierrez. Curtis with 4 saves on the year on the mound for the Horns. Again, Tech has not had a base runner get past second base today. 4 times the Red Raiders have had a base runner at second, but never been able to move him over. Laced foul down the right side. Thornhill, the starter, went 5 1/3 for Texas, allowed just 4 hits, walked a couple. Then Cooper came on to go an inning and 2/3. Now Curtis trying to finish it up. Chris Sadbury, the starter for Tech, also went 5 1/3. He allowed the 2 runs. Little blooper. But Marlowe will catch just in the outfield for the first out of the inning.
Curtis has faced 4 hitters and he's jammed 2 of them. He really sawed Gutierrez off right there. He is throwing hard.
Kirsch steps in. Kirsch is 0 for 3 today, including a 6-4-3 double play to end the 4th inning. 1 out here in the 9th. Pitch missed inside for a ball. It's easy for me to say. You almost want to see Kirsch wear that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That is the easiest thing in the world to say from up there in the booth.
Yes.
Come on, let it hit you. Just grazed the uniform.
How hard could it be throwing?
Yeah, ain't no big deal.
Yeah.
I'm not sure 85 and 95 are any difference. They both sting pretty good. I think they hurt less when you got 2 strikes on you.
Well, just like that is 3 balls and no strikes.
Adam will do the take sign here. Might even have the take sign if he gets a strike on him. He's leading the team in RBIs. He can produce some runs, but this run won't mean a lot. They've got to get a base runner here. Probably got a pinch runner geared up if he does get on.
Zach Davis is likely stretching, or I see Devin Conley actually with put a batting helmet on and stretching in the Tech dugout. Checked and fouled that off for strike 2. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. And trying to get a base runner to get the tying run at the plate. As Loney waits on deck, has a couple of Grand Slam home runs this year. Did those in 1 week before hurting his hand. Ball 4.
You do get out of the way of that one.
Yeah.
The 3-ball pitch couldn't get out of the way.
It doesn't matter.
Get killed.
So here comes Devin Conley to pinch run for Kirsch. So now the tying run at the plate in the form of Tyler Nesloney.
Nesloney's flied out to the track or just short of the track. 2 of his 3 at-bats today. He struck out back in the 2nd. So he's the tying run at the plate. That's the first pitch for a strike. Tyler's a guy who can use the whole field. See him pull balls with authority and go the other way with authority. Just a good hitter.
Alec Humphreys waits on deck. The ball's in a strike. The ball gets past the catcher. Now the throw down to second is a little high, so it'll be a wild pitch. That's huge. If for nothing else, it gets you out of the double play situation.
And what you'll see here is that the Longhorn outfielders will probably be instructed to a base hit to the outfield unless it's just a shallow or some kind of a play where the base runner has to hold up on a decent base hit to the outfield. They'll probably be instructed just to throw it into second base, let Conley score. You've got to keep the hitter on first base if he should happen to get a base hit. And obviously, Nesloney, the tying run, you don't want him at second.
1 ball and 1 strike. 1 out. Ball's laced past the shortstop and Hinojosa in the left field. Conley will be held up at third. So now the tying run on base and the potential winning run at the plate in Alec Humphreys. So Hinojosa made the diving effort. See, Conley was hoping to get the green light, but Tim Tadlock, again, you don't want to really take that chance because they have Zach Davis pinch running for Nesloney.
Yeah, you could hear some fans kind of grumbling like, oh, come on, coach, send him, but that run doesn't mean a thing. I mean, it's important, obviously, in the context of this game, but the run that matters is the guy over first. You can't take a chance on scoring. And again, I had mentioned that he would probably have no trouble scoring, but Conley had held up on that line drive. He sat down to make sure that Hinojosa didn't dive and catch it. And so it was played the right way by Conley. It was played the right way by Coach Tadlock.
So we have a meeting at the mound. Pitching coach Skip Johnson comes out.
And Coach Tadlock taking this opportunity to visit with Zach Davis. Of course, now you got the opportunity and a really good runner over there at first base. If you can get Davis to second, then you really do have a chance to tie it up on a single, because these two, you can't put 2 faster runners on base for the Red Raiders. I'm not sure you could if you're anybody in the country. These 2 guys can absolutely fly.
So Conley is at third, Davis at first, Humphreys at the plate.
You have to make sure Davis is aware of the first and third, the third to first moves. You have to make sure he's also aware of sitting down on a line drive. You can't get doubled off on a line drive. Do everything you can to extend this inning, extend this ball game.
3,992 in the house today. A lot of them on their feet, a lot of them starting the Raider Power chant, trying to get this thing going for the Red Raiders here in the 9th. Pitch to Humphreys, misses away. Again, the tying run at first base, Zach Davis.
Very good runner over at first base as well.
The 1-0 pitch, fouled off out of play down the right side.
Davis is the kind of guy who can score from first on a double.
Hunter Redmond waits on deck for the Red Raiders. Big opportunity here for Humphreys. Humphreys was 1 for 2 today. Came in the 5th inning and flied out to right. Had a base hit in the 7th. Pitch misses high and away. Curtis has missed a few high, hadn't he? And so,
when he's been in command of the count, he's been able to get some Red Raider hitters to chase.
2 balls and a strike. Time is called, and Humphreys will step out. Took with 7 hits on the afternoon, 1 in this inning. There's the 2-1 pitch. Fly ball foul down the right side and out of play. Look at the crowd. Fan in the crowd made a nice catch. Evens it up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Again, we've had a good weekend attendance, and I think most of the people who showed up have been hanging around. And you mentioned that a couple innings ago. They've just been waiting for something to happen.
Yep, on edge.
Runners going at first, 2-2 pitch. Lifted out into shallow right field. Shaw comes in and drops for the base hit. Conley scores. And it's 2-1. Davis had to hold up because he didn't know if Shaw could get to it. And Humphreys with the RBI single cuts the lead in half. You see it here.
Davis stealing. He was moving on the pitch, and so it was really a hold your breath moment there, because if Shaw catches that thing in the air, he was going to easily double Davis off. But Davis had a good jump. He was going to get the bag, and now the Red Raiders are really in business.
So Hunter Redmond at the plate. The tying run at second, the winning run at first with 1 out. Kirsch started this with the walk. Conley pinch ran. The wild pitch put him at second. Grounder over to Gurwitz at third. He'll go over to first. Only play he had for the second out. That's the bad news. The good news is now the tying run just 90 feet away, and the winning run in scoring position, and Tim Proudfoot at the plate.
Well, and we talked earlier about Coach Tadlock not making the wrong decision by holding Conley up. Now you can bet your bottom dollar on anything, any kind of a hit into the outfield, that he will be sending Alec Humphreys, because the tying run will have scored.
Proudfoot is 1 for 3 today. Has a chance to go home a hero. Fouls the first pitch away down the right side for strike 1. Again, Proudfoot missed 5 weeks with the broken bone in his back after being hit by the pitch in practice. Davis at third, Humphreys at second. 2 outs here in the inning. Here's the 0-1 from Curtis. Top of the order, Stephen Smith waits on deck. Should Proudfoot do something that doesn't bring the winning run across?
Texas middle infielder's not paying Humphreys much attention. He's going to be able to get an extra shuffle in his secondary.
There's the 1-1 from Curtis. Grounded foul down the third base side. So Curtis in the driver's seat now with 1 ball and 2 strikes. Most of the crowd here now on its feet.
UT infield playing very deep, as you would expect. They're trying to do anything they can to keep the ball in the infield.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Here comes the runner, stealing home. He'll be safe. Zach Davis steals home and ties this thing up here in the 9th, and Humphreys moves over to third.
That is the most unbelievable thing I think I have seen. With 2 strikes and 2 outs, Zach Davis just takes the bag, just steals home in a straight steal. That is unbelievable.
Unbelievable, and Humphreys moves over to third. And I've never seen Tim Tadlock show as much emotion as I just did as he came over to greet Humphreys at third base. He was coming the whole way.
What Skip Johnson was asking was, what was the pitch? Was the pitch a strike? Because if it's a strike, it's strike 3. I think we saw Barrera go up in the strike zone to catch that. You talk about guts. That is the guts of a cat burglar right there.
And it is tied at 2 here at the 9th. And the Red Raiders have an opportunity to win it right here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The winning run at third. Pitch missed, he checked, and they said he went around for strike 3. Wow. But what an inning. The Red Raiders tie it with 2 runs here in the 9th. We're going to get some free baseball heading to the 10th. You're watching Texas Tech TV on Fox. Top of the 10th inning. Goodness gracious, the Red Raiders tie it with 2 in the bottom of the 9th. Still home with 2 outs to tie it. We got some defensive changes for the Red Raiders. Todd Ritchie enters the game and left. Devin Conley stays in the game, and he will move to center field. And Stephen Smith moves over from center to right. Wow, as we head to the 10th. And first pitch hit right at Gutierrez. He'll step on the bag. That was Colin Shaw for the first out of the 10th. Ryan Mosley still on the mound for the Red Raiders.
I think a few fans had kind of snuck out of here thinking they were going to beat the traffic. I wonder if they're rerouting their not many, though. This place is still nearly full.
Gerwitz steps in. Gerwitz is 0 for 4. A couple of ground outs to third, a couple of strikeouts. Again, the Red Raiders tied in the 9th, stealing home.
2 strikes, 2 outs, steal of home. The only other time I've seen that was a 1982 St. Louis Cardinals game. Third-string catcher named Glenn Brummer stole home to win a ball game in a situation just like that. Unbelievable.
The 0-1 pitch foul back. Well, all of the momentum now in the Red Raiders' favor. This crowd is really jacked up now. No balls and 2 strikes. I literally couldn't believe my eyes when I saw Davis coming home on that pitch. There's the 0-2. Call strike 3. That's the third strikeout for Mosley.
Mosley just painting up that outside corner, and that's that 0-2 fastball where the catcher sets up maybe a ball width or 2 off the outside corner. If you stick that mitt, sometimes you'll get that call.
How about this? You're trying to think of the last Red Raiders to steal home. I would never think it'd be Bo Altobelli.
I think it was part of that old first and third stolen base. I guarantee you, and of course you and I were there for that, but it did not come on a straight steal of home plate.
No.
I can't tell you the last time I saw that. I mean, just straight steal. We're going to beat the ball home. How about the guts of Zach Davis?
There's the 0-1. A slow roller towards Barrios at third. He's going to have to barehand it. The throw won't get Hinojosa.
That is the 4th infield single for the Longhorns this game. I think the 2nd for Hinojosa.
It is the 2nd for Hinojosa. He had one back in the 4th inning.
A little swing and bunt.
Brings up Silver. Silver is 0 for 2 since entering the game. Well, Hinojosa has 3 hits today.
If you could do it every time you wanted to, you'd bat about 600 because the swing and bunt is hard to defend, especially once you get 2 strikes on a guy. Third baseman backs up.
Fly ball. The shallow right field. Burleson going out. Smith coming in, and they bump into each other, but Burleson hangs on to it.
Holy smokes.
Well, that's not a guy you want to run into, Stephen Smith. And that ends the 10th for the Longhorns. They leave a runner on. We go to the bottom of the 10th, still tied at 2. You're watching Texas Tech TV on Fox. See the way we ended the top of the 10th when Burleson and Smith had the collision in shallow right field. And I think Smith looked like he took the worst of that. He's now coming to the plate to lead off the 10th.
It looked like Steven ran his Smith right into the back, his face kind of right into the back of Burley.
Smith is 0 for 4. Takes the first pitch inside, and it all goes back to a great at bat by Adam Kirsch to draw the walk to get that thing going in the 9th. When it looked like you were going to really struggle against Curtis. Pitch misses up high for ball 2.
And this is now Curtis's longest outing of the year.
And he's thrown 36 pitches.
He had a 2-inning appearance in February, and he hasn't pitched 2 innings since.
Top of the order here for the Red Raiders. Smith taking the entire way. 3 balls and no strikes. Tell you that last thing too. This place was getting loud. This is a crowd been waiting around all afternoon. That pitch misses for ball 4. So the winning run now at first for the Red Raiders. Pitch get back to the backstop. So Brian Burleson steps in. Burleson with a couple of hits today. He's 2 for 3. Had a double in the first and a base hit in the 4th. Again, Tech tied it with 2 in the bottom of the 9th, including a 2-out, 2 strikes, stolen base of home. Burleson bunts it down the first base side. First baseman Silver will take it and tag him out, so the sacrifice works. And now the winning run is in scoring position for Jake Berrios.
Now you'll see the UT outfield make some adjustments. They'll shallow up a little bit more than they had been playing because they've got to get themselves in a position to throw the runner out on a base hit. Looks like the Longhorns are going to intentionally walk Berrios.
They'll walk Berrios to create the force situation, also possible double play. I'm not sure I'd want to face Eric Gutierrez in this situation, but really it's probably the right move to make here for the Longhorns.
That's right. Especially because if you make a pitch down in the strike zone and Eric puts it on the ground, he's a double play candidate, and so they can accomplish a couple things there by putting the force in. Of course, none of these runs matter. The only run that matters is
the guy at second.
Yeah.
There's ball 3. The last 2 have been a little bit of an adventure, but
not as much of an adventure as Mosley's 3rd ball on his intentional walk a couple innings ago where he threw it back to the net.
There's ball 4, so Berrios will take first.
And then Berrios' instructions are really to not be a factor. You want him to be aggressive on any kind of a situation. If, in other words, if there's a base hit to the outfield and you stint Steven Smith, you want Berrios moving behind it, because if Steven's thrown out at home, you've still got Berrios in 3rd base, but otherwise you don't want him getting doubled off on a line drive, picked off, or anything. Of course, Texas not going to spend any time holding him on either.
Gutierrez is 1 for 4. Had the single in the 4th, hitting a double play to end the 1st. Grounds that foul down the 3rd base side.
And Goody went tomahawk into a fastball right there. Jumped on it and pulled it foul.
No balls and 1 strike.
UT outfield shading Gutierrez to the pull side toward left field just a little bit. Again, very shallow relative to where they've played this weekend.
Curtis ready to go. Evens the count up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Steven Smith, the winning run at 2nd base.
Steven's a pretty good runner.
Berrios at first. There's the 1-1 to Gutierrez. Foul back to the screen. Devin Conley waits on deck. Conley, of course, pinch ran for Kirsch in the 9th.
Shaw in right field probably a step or 2 more shallow than the other outfielders, meaning that a sharply hit ball to right field may be very difficult to score Steven.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Grounder over to short. Hinojosa. Only play will be to first. He does get Gutierrez, but the runners move up 90 feet. So now the winning run just 90 feet away with 2 outs. And Devin Conley at the plate. And, you know, with Conley's speed.
Yeah, he makes it kind of interesting just because the bunt's in play here. By itself, this probably isn't a great matchup for the Red Raiders, but with 2 outs and all Devin needs to do is reach, he can just dump a bunt and make this ball game a thing of the past.
Conley, his first at-bat of the afternoon. And does drop the bunt down the first base side. Curtis is up with it to throw to first in time to get Conley and end the inning. So the Red Raiders lead 2-1 here in the 10th. We'll go to the 11th, still tied at 2. You're watching. The 10th inning ended with the winning run at third. Devin Conley at the plate. He dropped the bunt down. And a bang-bang play at first. Can you see the great speed by Conley? If he'd been able to beat that out, but he was out by a full step. And so we'll play some more as we go to the 11th. It'll be Carter, Marlowe, and Johnson. Swing and a miss to face Ryan Mosley. Mosley has thrown now 52 pitches.
Ryan did this one other time a couple weeks ago in a close ball game with New Mexico State. 4 or 5 innings. Extra inning win for the Red Raiders.
The 0-1 fouled into the screen. Looks like Withrow back up and throwing in the Red Raider bullpen.
Cameron Spith still kind of milling around down there. He's more or less been up for about 4 or 5 innings.
Yeah, for a long time, yep.
He's just kind of milling around now.
Texas 2 runs on 10 hits. They've left on 12. Tech 2 runs on 8 hits. Tech has left on 9. It's just off the outside. Brooks Marlowe, the top of the order, waits on deck. We're playing in the 11th. Take another look at that pitch. Wow, didn't miss by much.
With a couple ball widths off the outside corner. Not much. Good spot for it.
The 1-2 from Mosley. Right over to Burleson at second. He's up with it. And there is one away here in the 11th. Go to the top of the order. Nice play by Burleson. Marlowe has reached base once today. He walked in the 7th. Texas Tech trying to win its 2nd consecutive Big 12 series, having won last week on the road in TCU in Fort Worth. First pitch over for a strike from Mosley. Just again, you cannot put into words what happened in that 9th inning with that stolen base of home. Foul ball to pretty deep left center field. Conley on the run. You're not going to get to it. It's going to bounce off the wall. Marlowe will stop at second with the double. Well, you know, if Conley can't get to it, it's hit pretty hard. And
that ball was well struck. Short hopping the Fuddrucker sign out there in left center field. Conley's only job there was to hustle over there and get it in and prevent it from being anything more than a double.
So now the go-ahead run in scoring position for the Longhorns as Ben Johnson steps in. Johnson is 3 for 5 today. Single in the 1st and scored a run, a home run in the 3rd, and a double in the 9th. So much like Marlowe on Friday night, Johnson the triple away from hitting for the cycle. Dangerous part of the Longhorn lineup right here with Johnson and then Payton. Mosley with his 59th pitch missed inside. Withrow and Smith both throwing in earnest down there in the Red Raider bullpen. A little double barrel action in the Tech bullpen down in right field. 2-0 pitch missed down. Marlowe's double, the 11th hit of the afternoon for Texas. As we play in the 11th. Here's the 3-0. Takes that pitch high for ball 4. That's the 3rd walk of the afternoon by Mosley. Brings up Payton. Payton with the intentional walk in the 9th. You see Withrow throwing in the Tech bullpen. Withrow had the great outing against Arkansas Pine Bluff. See Cameron Smith there behind him. And here comes Tim Tadlock with 1 out in the inning. Hasn't made a motion yet, as the infield will join him, and got the go-ahead run at second and a runner at first with one out here in the inning, and Mosley has thrown 61 pitches.
I would tell you that Mosley looks tired.
Yeah, he's going to be done. He's going with lefty. So Cameron Smith, obviously the left-hander to face Peyton. Cameron Smith will enter the game for Texas Tech. So with the score tied at 2 here in the 11th, we will take a break. You're watching Texas Tech TV on Fox. Top of the 11th, tied at 2. The new pitcher for the Red Raiders is the left-hander Cameron Smith.
This is Smith's 12th appearance. 3 of those were starts, including the 1-inning start he threw yesterday. A 4-0 record. He does have a save, 3.58 ERA, in 27 2/3 innings. He's allowed 26 hits, walked 14, struck out 13. Opponent's batting .265 off the junior lefty.
So Mosley went 4 1/3. He did not allow a run. Both runners on base are his responsibility. He allowed 3 hits. He walked 3. One of those was intentional when he walked Peyton in the 9th. And 3 strikeouts for Mosley. Threw 61 pitches, 40 for strikes. Great outing for the freshman in a big situation. So Cameron Smith, yesterday's starter who won an inning, comes out to face, no small order, the best hitter in the Big 12 in the 11th inning of a ball game. Peyton now has reached base in 68 consecutive games with the intentional pass. Texas with 1 on the 1st and 1 on the 3rd. Tech tied it with 2 in the 9th. Playing in the 11th. Look back. Big breaking pitch. Looks like a frisbee coming in there.
And Cameron's got that low arm slot. 3-pitch arsenal. He will throw a changeup. Good fastball. He can jam hitters. He can throw the breaking ball away. Key for him is establishing that breaking ball.
He's behind the count now. 2 balls and a strike with 1 out. Trippett now throwing alongside Withrow in the bullpen. 2-1 pitch that was lifted out to right, but Smith is right there for the 2nd out of the inning. Smith positioned nearly perfectly, just moved basically a half a step for the catch. So now it's up to Tres Barrera with 2 outs.
Longhorns with no activity in the bullpen, so you're going to ride Mr. Curtis, and no reason not to. He's still throwing well. You mentioned that his longest outing prior to today was 2 innings. He will be working into his 4th inning. He comes back out for the bottom of the 12th, 11th, excuse me.
Here comes Tim Tadlock. I was wondering with the right-hander up if maybe Smith's job was to get the lefty Peyton, and here comes Tim Tadlock with 2 outs, and he's looking as if he's going to make the call. And he does. He does motion for the right-hander. So Smith comes in to face 1 batter, and he gets him to go. So with 2 outs, we're going to see Matt Withrow now for the Red Raiders. And the last time we saw Withrow was on Tuesday against Arkansas Pine Bluff. And Gus, I think on that night, everyone got a glimpse of the kind of pitcher this guy can be.
Yeah, there's no question. He had good stuff, good command. And as you mentioned, he started out the year pitching on Saturdays and really struggled and didn't throw well down at Minute Maid and kind of worked his way out of the weekend rotation and back into the midweeks. So in the last 2 midweeks, we've had 2 ball games, and Matt's gotten a start in each of those, and really looks like he's cleaned himself up a little bit, and now he's getting interjected right back into a huge spot.
heard Tadlock talk after that game on Tuesday, and he said, you know, if he can continue to throw his secondary stuff the way he did Tuesday, he can pitch against anybody.
Oh, there's no question about that. This is Matt's 7th appearance, his first out of the bullpen, a 3-1 record, 3.90 ERA in 27 2/3 innings. He's allowed 21 hits, walked 11, struck out 32, over a strikeout an inning. Opponent's batting .208 off the sophomore right-hander. The big sophomore right-hander, of course, his older brother, pitching out of the bullpen for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Matt himself was drafted out of high school down the road, middle in Odessa.
Yeah, matter of fact, we were talking about what's his brother's name? I should have asked you. Was talking to some scouts about Reed Redmond, who is now obviously pitching in the minor leagues, and Reed played third base here. And we were talking about how Reed very rarely pitched in high school, and he said, well, he was pitching with Withrow's brother. There's no reason to throw him.
Yeah, the Withrow boys and the Redmond boys grew up together, and Burleson part of that.
So Barrera steps in, 2 outs. Checks to the pitch on the outside corner for a strike. So Barrera's 1 for 5 today. Singled in the first to drive in the run. First run of the game, scoring Johnson. Johnson has scored both runs today. Big chopper over to Proudfoot at short. He waits on it. The throw across gets Barrera, and the Longhorns are done in the 11th. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 2 runners left on. So we're going to the bottom of the 11th. It's winning time for the Red Raiders, tied at 2. You're watching Texas Tech TV on Fox. Bottom of the 11th inning, nearly 4,000 in attendance today. They have been treated to a good one as we are tied going into the bottom of the 11th inning. Texas jumped out to the early lead. The RBI single in the first made it 1-0. Ben Johnson scored. He would score the only 2 runs of the game for the Longhorns, including the solo homer to give Texas the 2-0 lead. But then the Red Raiders would tie it in the bottom of the 9th inning. See Alec Humphreys with the RBI single to score Devin Conley. And then with 2 outs and 2 strikes, Zach Davis steals home to tie it up. Todd Ritchie will step in for the Red Raiders. He's making his first plate appearance. He looks at that pitch away for ball 1. Ritchie hitting 148 on the season. Ritchie is 4 for 27. He came in the 10th after Davis pinch ran in the 9th, and obviously played a big part in what happened with the steal of home. Ritchie came out in the 10th to play in left. 2-0 misses away, and so just like in the 10th inning, Stephen Smith led off the bottom of the 10th with the walk for the Red Raiders, and Todd Ritchie does the same here in the 11th. So the winning run now on first base for the Red Raiders. That is the 4th walk of the afternoon for Curtis.
All 4 pitches off the outside corner. It looked like, you know, when you look for little things in a guy's delivery that might point to fatigue, he didn't really finish any of those 4 pitches and drive them through the strike zone. So again, this is his longest outing of the year, and I'm sure he's pitched way beyond 3 innings earlier in his career.
Humphrey steps in. Humphreys with the big RBI in the 9th to make it 2-1. He was left stranded at third as the potential winning run in the 9th after stealing third when Davis stole home. No balls and 1 strike. Throw over to first, and Ritchie back on the bag.
Texas really defending this bunt aggressively. You see Gerwich crashing while Curtis is still in the set position. It'll be interesting to see if Coach Stadlock would give Alec Humphreys the freedom to pull it back and slash, which is basically pull it back and swing, try to put it on the ground.
Again, squares to bunt. Pitch missed away.
You really only want to do that if you're confident that the pitcher's going to be in the strike zone, and you feel like with him squaring around a couple times earlier in the sequence that Curtis is trying to do everything he can to throw a strike. Sometimes the hit and run can come into play.
Tech is 1-0 this year in extra inning games. Now they call a balk. So the second base umpire, David Wiley, calls the balk.
I think you might be doing David Wiley a favor to just attribute the balk to him, because I think Shepis over at third base came out of his shoes as well.
Yeah, now looking at that, it's maybe I heard two guys. I guess Shepis was the other. I heard two guys yell the balk. So now the winning run in scoring position.
And what it looked like was happening was that they did have the hit and run on, because Richie faked a move to second, and Curtis kind of flinched.
And he does drop the bunt down. He wins it foul. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. No one out here in the 11th. The winning run for the Red Raiders at second base, Todd Ritchie. Reached on the walk, moved to second on the balk.
We'd love some contact to the right side. Of course, all Humphreys is trying to do is just get contact in any.
He squared the bunt, takes the pitch high.
How about that?
A lot of confidence by Tim Tadlock and Humphreys, if he did actually offer up at that. So 2 balls and 2 strikes with the runner at second. Look back to second. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Foul back to the screen.
Alex Silver, again, with 2 strikes, nobody out. Alex Silver, the first baseman, I bet he's 75 feet away from Alec over at first. Now that he's swung away right there, you may see him back off a little bit. It's a tough thing to bunt with 2 strikes, obviously, because not only do you have to get it fair, but you also have to judge the strike zone as well.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Nice tying away. Of course, Curtis can afford to nibble a little bit with first base open.
And his run doesn't mean much. Humphreys wouldn't. It would put the double play in order.
Here's the winning run at second base. Todd Ritchie. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch lined at the shortstop. Hinojosa knocks it down. He makes the throw to first. Not in time. So Humphreys will get a base hit. That's his 3rd hit of the afternoon. You see it, a hard hitter hit ball at Hinojosa.
Official score ruling that an error.
Oh, he ruled an error. Okay, I'm sorry.
But the point is, now runners on first and second, nobody out.
So runners at first and second. After I had just been praising Hinojosa, again, the old jinx.
Well, that ball was hit sharply. Hinojosa did a good job of keeping it in. The key thing he did by knocking it down is Ritchie didn't move over. So other than just not converting that ground ball, sharply hit ground ball into an out, it really didn't cost them 90 feet from that lead runner, which is the only one that matters. Now you see Hunter Redmond, and he probably will be in a bunting situation.
Redmond spent a long time talking to Tim Tadlock.
Alex Silver very shallow at first base. Gerwitz having to hold his ground at third.
And does square to bunt. Pitch misses high for a ball. Redmond is 1 for 3 today.
There's a ton of movement on this Longhorn infield. They're really defending this bunt aggressively. With that in mind, Hunter, if he bunts, is going to have to get the bunt down to the third base line.
Does square again and bunts it towards the first baseman. He's up with it to throw to third. Gerwitz does a nice job of staying on the bag for the out. And you mentioned that Silver did a good job, and Ritchie is out at third.
Ritchie, there's not much more Ritchie could do to play that. Great stretch there by Gerwitz. He played that as well as an infielder can. A lot of middle infielder guys like Gerwitz aren't comfortable stretching for balls the way a first baseman would, and that throw was a little bit back into the infield. Zane did a good job of keeping his foot on the bag.
Very good job by Gerwitz. So with 1 away, brings up Proudfoot. Proudfoot 1 for 4 on the afternoon. Pitch misses high, so Humphreys at second, Redmond at first.
It was just dynamite bunt defense there by Silver, really being aggressive and attacking that thing.
1-0 to Proudfoot. Fouled it. Back to the screen. Top of the order. Stephen Smith waiting on deck. Tech had an opportunity in the 9th, had the winning run at third with 2 outs after tying it. And had another opportunity in the 10th with a winning run at third. The 1-1. Lifted out in shallow center field. Peyton goes back and makes the catch. So carried a little bit more off the bat. So quickly now 2 outs in the inning. I thought that might.
Yeah, very sharply hit, but we talked about a couple innings ago. Texas outfield playing very shallow, and you see Peyton having to go back on that ball because they were playing so shallow to make sure that they could have a play at the plate on a base hit. Now they can back off just a little bit with 2 outs, but not much. They've still got to be in a position to throw the guy out at home.
So Stephen Smith with an opportunity to be the hero. The freshman steps in. 0 for 4. Walked to lead off the 10th. Was left stranded at third base. One hop to the second baseman. He's up with it. Marlowe to throw to first. And that ends the 11th. No runs, no hits. There was an error, and 2 runners left on. We have played 11 full. We're heading to the 12th, still tied at 2. You're watching Texas Tech TV on Fox. Top of the 12th inning. The 3,992 still hanging around trying to see the end of this one. Tech tied it with 2 in the bottom of the 9th. Go now to the top of the 12th. The Longhorns will send up here in the 12th Shaw, Gerwitz, and Hinojosa. Face Matt Withrow. Chris Withrow is Matt Withrow's brother, who's we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, pitches for the Dodgers. And their father, Mike Withrow, pitched at the University of Texas in the early 80s.
So we got all those names taken care of now.
Got the Withrow family tree cleared up.
Shaw today has a hit. He's reached base, though, 3 times. Reached on the fielder's choice and was hit by a pitch. 3-0. Takes that pitch for a strike. We've got to do a little research, too, because there's got to be a time limit, too, on a Sunday game as far as when the latest you can play.
And the Longhorns bust up here, so they don't have the obstacle of a plane ticket to try to catch. And, you know, that's usually when the curfew is a little harder. I imagine the curfew is a little bit later. I would want to tell you that I would hope it wouldn't come into play, but Texas will have a quick turnaround. They've got to get home tonight and go to class and then hop on the bus and head to Houston and play Rice on Tuesday. So they've got a they're going to log some miles.
So Gerwitz spent some time talking to Augie Garrido. Gerwitz with the hat trick today, 3 strikeouts. 0 for 5. Squares to bunt and drops it down the first base side. Withrow up with it. So the sacrifice 1-3. So 1 away. There's Hinojosa. Hinojosa is 3 for 5 today. 3 for 4 rather. He walked in the 8th inning.
See, the Red Raiders will be instructed here. You'll be telling the infielders, hey, on your belly. You're trying to do anything you can to keep a ball in the infield.
And Hosa looks that over for a strike. Well, the Red Raiders have certainly had their opportunities.
Oh, yeah.
The 9th, 10th, and 11th. After tying it in the 9th. That's a 1-1. High pitch and found it back. Lands on top of the awning right over our head. Kind of like a poof on top of it.
Well, this awning, kind of a heavy red fabric. Obviously built to take some foul balls, but you don't hear much of a crash when the ball hits it.
With the 1-2 pitch. Foul away. Just checked with Scott Lacefield, said had not been told yet about any kind of time limitation. That rule still exists about
72 hours.
72 hours after the team reaches the location. The 1-2 pitch. Chopper over to the right side. It's classic Texas baseball right there. Move the runner over. So 2 outs. That's the grounder to the right side by Hinojosa. So the go-ahead run now at third for the Longhorns, but there are 2 outs in the inning. Silver is 0 for 3 today. His last at bat, he had a pop-up into shallow right field that had the collision with Burleson and Smith. Burleson held on to it. And the Red Raider half of the 12th, we'll see Burleson, Barrios, and Gutierrez, 2, 3, and 4 in the order. The pitch misses high.
We did not complete the Withrow family tree earlier. He's got a younger brother playing over at Lubbock Christian just down the street. Now I think the Withrow family tree is complete. Yes, at least as far as the baseball-related Withrows go.
Okay, Scott Lacefield informs us there will be no curfew, so we'll play it till we have a winner. That's the way it should be, right, Gus?
Oh, yeah.
You don't have anywhere to be, do you?
Oh, no.
Just put the steaks on the grill and let them cool until you're ready to go. Silver draws the walk. Pitch runners at first and third. So Withrow missed a little high. A couple of those throws.
Make sure all the Red Raider infielders are together on how they want to defend a first and third situation. They want to, if Silver were to do a forced balk or leave early or get picked off on purpose or whatever. Not sure he's a big threat to run, but the craziest thing to see him put somebody in motion.
Grounder through the right side by Carter for the RBI, and then misplayed by Smith, and it's going to go all the way to the wall. Let's see what happens here. Runner being waved around third. Smith comes up with it. 2 runs will come across as Silver scores. It'll be a single by Carter for the RBI, and then an error by Stephen Smith allows the other run to score, and it's now 4-2 Texas.
And to be clear, there was no shot, obviously, at getting the out, getting Shaw. That was a base hit and a run scored, but boy, that was a key insurance run that got in.
On top of that, Carter comes all the way around to third. So Brooks Marlowe will step in. Marlowe making his 7th trip into the batter's box today. Swing and a miss for a strike. Marlowe has reached base twice. He walked in the 7th, and he doubled in the 11th. Well, you got to tip your hat to Madison Carter today. He hasn't played a lot this year, and he's got 3 hits. None bigger than that one. To get the RBI.
Well, Augie Garrido's known for playing hunches. In the 2002 College World Series, he played Chris Carmichael, a guy who hadn't played much, and he hit a 3-run homer that blew the national championship game open. He was rewarded again by playing a hunch today. Credit to him.
Pitch misses inside. Carter came in 0 for 4 on the year, and he's got 3 hits in 6 plate appearances.
John Curtis playing catch down the left field line. He was well into his longest outing of the year.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Marlowe stays alive. Ben Johnson waiting on deck for the Longhorns. Well, Tech had its opportunities in both the 10th and 11th. Were not able to capitalize. The Longhorns in the 12th do capitalize. Ball ripped out to deep right field. Smith running over, but it'll be foul. Smith had to cover a lot of ground to get over there, but all for naught, foul ball. And now Gus, I think it's just important just to hold it here at 2.
No question.
He did it in the 9th. See if he do it again in the bottom of the 12th here. Is that, again, Marlowe is a tough out. Dylan Dushek still throwing in the Red Raider bullpen. Dalton Brown also up. Pitch misses low. So Withrow would be on the hook here should the Red Raiders not be able to tie it or take the lead in the bottom half. Ball's lined into left field for the base hit. So Marlowe with some 2-out hitting drives in. Another insurance run for the Longhorns. And Texas now leads it 5-2. Marlowe with his second hit of the afternoon. That ball got up on Todd Ritchie in a hurry also, so nice job by Ritchie of not letting that get by him.
And Ritchie did a really nice job of getting to that ball. Was slicing away from him.
So now it's 5-2. Marlowe with his 10th RBI of the year. Ben Johnson steps in. Johnson has 3 hits, and you see Redmond are going to go out and talk to Withrow. Three across for Texas here in the 12th to lead at 5-2. $13 hits for the Longhorns today. They had 16 on Friday, 15 on Saturday, 13 more today. They've left 14 on today, 41 this weekend, but they've had the big hits when they've needed them. Big chopper towards the left side. Berrios comes up with what a great play by Berrios, but the damage done here in the 12th. 3-run score. And the Longhorns take the 5-2 lead into the bottom of the 12th. You're watching Texas Tech TV on Fox. Heading to the bottom of the 12th. Tech fans in attendance disappointed what they saw in the top half, but now got to hope the Red Raiders can work some more late game magic and tie this thing up or win it here in the 12th. And the Red Raiders will send up Burleson, Berrios, and Gutierrez here in the 12th. Face John Curtis. Curtis saw the save opportunity blown in the 9th, but he's done a good job and stayed out. That's his 66th pitch. He's gone 4 innings. He now has a chance to get the win. Burleson with 2 hits today. Burleson had a double in the 1st. He had a single in the 4th. He walked in the 6th. Struck out in the 8th and then had a sacrifice bunt in the 10th inning. Tech had a runner, the winning run 90 feet away in the 9th, 10th, and the 11th inning. Couldn't plate the run and now trail it by 3 in the bottom of the 12th. And Gus is fired up and is excited, and everyone was after the 9th. This place is kind of deflated after what happened in the top of the 12th. Swing and a miss for strike 3. That's the 3rd strikeout of the afternoon by Curtis.
Yeah, you are exactly right. Deflated, as you would expect. Well, the one run's been tough enough to get in these extra innings. Curtis has been throwing very well. 2 or 3 runs. That's a big number.
So Berrios steps in.
Especially that 3rd run, excuse me.
Yeah, that
prevents the proverbial bloop and a blast. As you said, 2 bloops and a blast, or a bloop and 2 blasts.
Or however you want to do the math.
Yeah, a little bit taller order.
Oh, Berrios gets hit by a pitch. So that'll bring up Gutierrez, and it shows you how big that error was in the hit by Marlowe, because again, your 3-2 would be a lot different than where we are at 5-2.
Yeah. Think about the 2-out walk to Silver. Runner on third, 2 outs, little 2-out walk. Didn't seem like it was a big deal. Ends up being a key insurance run, a key inning extender.
Gutierrez rips that one down the line on the left. Foul. Gut just a little bit out ahead of that.
Looked like he jumped a fastball and hooked it foul.
Eric is 1 for 5 this afternoon. Had a single back in the 4th. But Curtis with 72 pitches thrown. The 0-1 misses down and away. Texas looking for its first conference series win in over a year. Gutierrez now in the hole, 1 ball and 2 strikes. The 1-2 to Gutierrez. Fly ball out to left. Johnson drifting over to his right, makes the catch. And the Red Raiders are down to their final out. Gutierrez just kind of reached out and lifted that one out to the left. And catch by Johnson.
Texas not going to hold Jake Berrios on. I was surprised they were holding him on. I guess they were with 1 out, but I'm sure what they were trying to do is keep the double play in order. Just go ahead and play behind him. Jake Berrios can run around the bases all they want. This run doesn't mean a thing until Devin Conley reaches base.
Conley showed bunt, takes the first pitch for a strike.
You'd almost like Berrios to go ahead and get second base just so that they have to play Conley at first on a ground ball. He runs so well.
Back to Conley's last at-bat when Red Raiders had the winning run at third, and he tried to get the bunt down. Beaten by a step. So now the Red Raiders are down to their final strike. It appears the Longhorns will have withstood the 9th inning rally and win this thing in extras. There goes the runner. Be indifference, defensive indifference.
And if Conley gets a base hit, you'll also see defensive indifference because they won't pay Berrios any attention at all.
1 ball and 2 strikes, and now Curtis steps off. Curtis is set. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Missed away, and that'll allow Berrios to move to third on the wild pitch. Evens the count up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Todd Ritchie waits on deck should Conley somehow be able to squeeze out something out of this at bat.
I think they're going to pinch hit for Ritchie if he gets to the plate.
He just came out. He just pulled him back out.
Yeah, not sure who they've got in mind.
Must be Broadbent. There's the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, doesn't matter. Strike 3, and the Longhorns win it in extra innings by a score of 5-2 as the Red Raiders leave 1 on here in the 12th inning. Today's player of the game for Texas Tech is presented by the Red Raider Club. Today's player of the game is Zach Davis. Davis with the big stolen base in the 9th inning to tie it up. His steal of home with 2 outs and 2 strikes in the 9th tied it up, and he is our Red Raider Club player of the game. You see him sliding in there safely at the time to make it 2-2. Red Raider Club, your support, their effort, our fearless champions. So again, Texas wins it by a score of 5-2. As we see both teams exchanging celebratory handshakes in the game. That'll do it for today's game. Join us again Sunday, April 13th, as the Red Raiders host the Kansas State Wildcats. For Mike Gustafson and the rest of the Texas Tech TV on Fox crew, I'm Robert Giovanetti. Thanks for joining us. Have a good afternoon.